Welcome to the Vault Excel. This is live number 2. Thank you for joining me. A little girl went missing, later found in a semi-wooded area near her grandparents' house, George and Cindy, many years ago. And the daughter, Casey Anthony, was arrested for the murder of that little girl. She was acquitted of all charges except for one, which was lying to authorities. During that trial, the daughter accused the father of SA against herself and possibly the little girl, and that he was the culprit to a drowning of the said child, and he covered it up. And he asked her to go along with the lie, allegedly. A Peacock documentary, 2022, she makes the same claim. You're entitled to believe what you want to believe. But many of us do believe that Casey Anthony is the sole proprietor of the death murder of her little girl, Kaylee Anthony. George and Cindy have taken polygraphs to exonerate themselves as culprits into the murder of this baby girl. You will now hear that said information. Thank you for joining me.
George, you've been through so much.
I don't wish this on anyone, not anywhere at all.
All right, this is new. Casey Anthony is speaking out more than a decade after she was found not guilty in the murder of her daughter, Kaylee.
After 15 years, Casey Anthony has broken her silence with the release of a documentary series. She blames her father, George, for everything, and even implies that he molested and killed her daughter, Kaylee. She even alleges that he concealed Kaylee's body and masterminded the infamous 31 days when she was missing.
I've got blamed for something that I didn't do, and it tears me up inside.
Desperate to clear his name, George has agreed to take a polygraph test.
I had a lot of things happen in my life I wouldn't miss out on anyone. People come by your house and they threaten you, they call you names.
From hateful tweets to angry voice messages.
You killed her. You deserve to rot in hell, and that's going to happen soon.
The stakes are higher than ever.
August 2023.
If it's found to be untruthful or deceptive,
I couldn't live with him anymore.
I just feel that I really need to leave this world.
Because I'm telling you, if he blows all this, he can end up in jail.
This is done. This is done. I will not stand here and you keep defending her.
If you have anything to do with Kaylee's disappearance, then the polygraph's going to show that. So did you have any active involvement in Kaylee's disappearance?
There are maybe just a handful of cases that will always have the public's attention, and if there are new developments in the story in any way, shape, or form, people will be interested. The tragedy all began back in the summer of 2008. June 16th was the last day Kaylee was seen alive. 1 month later, Cindy Anthony frantically called 911 and reported her missing.
I found out my granddaughter has been taken. She has been missing for about a year. I need to find her.
It didn't take long, but suspicions surrounded Casey after she was caught lying to police and was seen partying during the 31 days of her daughter's unreported disappearance.
No more lies. What happened to Kaylee?
I don't know.
You do know what
I
happened
don't
to
know
Kaylee.
where she is.
5 months later, Kaylee's remains are found in a garbage bag, dumped in the woods, just half a mile from the Anthony's home.
Florida grand jury indicted Casey Anthony on charges of first-degree murder, aggravated child abuse, aggravated manslaughter, and 4 counts of lying to investigators.
Kaylee's heartbreaking death ignited a media firestorm, and millions tuned into Casey's televised trial.
Kaylee's death allowed Casey Anthony to live a good life.
The prosecution argued that Casey grew tired of motherhood and suffocated her daughter using chloroform and duct tape. The defense claimed Kaylee's death was an accident.
She never was missing. Kaylee Anthony died on June 16, 2008, when she drowned in her family's swimming pool.
The defense pointed the finger at George, accusing him of molesting Casey.
Sex abuse does things to us. That will help you understand why no one knew that her child was dead.
In a shocking turn of events,
We, the jury, find the defendant not guilty.
Casey Anthony was found not guilty of first-degree murder. Now the latest twist. In 2022, Casey Anthony dropped a bombshell with the release of her documentary series, Where the Truth Lies. This is the first time Casey has told her side of the infamous story. And she not only alleges that her father sexually abused her, but also her young daughter.
You don't ever want to see that happen to another kid, especially not your own.
Look, I understand why the Anthonys agreed to take a polygraph test. There is a lot at stake here. They have to pass in order to clear their names. There are two huge areas of this polygraph for George. Whether or not he had anything to do with the disappearance of his granddaughter, of Kaylee, and whether or not he abused his daughter and or Kaylee. And Cindy has long been suspected of helping to hide the truth of Casey's disappearance as well.
I'm watching all these things that you're doing right now, and it's hurting our case. It's hurting it because people are looking at you, and they're seeing how you're changing the story. We don't need that. We need to then look at you and say, this is a strong grandmother.
So she will also be tested on whether or not George told her anything about any involvement he might have had in Kaylee's disappearance. George and Cindy have not watched Casey's documentary and don't know the extent of the allegations leveled against them. I wish the walls of that home where we're headed now, I wish those walls could talk.
It's been 15 years since our ordeal, and it's taken a toll on both of us. Back in 2018, George had his accident, so life changed drastically.
I broke my neck in an automobile accident. I was driving one of our older vehicles. The left rear axle came out, and I ended up tumbling 3 times across the I-4.
I spent a month up in Daytona with him while he was going through rehab up there, and I had to literally bathe him and take care of him for months.
I mean, there's some days I have a hard time walking, but I really try to put forth the effort to get through. Because number one is, I don't want her to keep on worrying about me, which I know she does.
He's gotten to the point where he doesn't want to be out and about.
Because I'm afraid I'll embarrass her. Something would happen.
Are you really lonely? Just the two of you at your house? Or...
For me, it's very relaxing. There's so many things I can get my hands into or do. Zoe, do you know what this is going to be? This is going to be Harry. Oh, we're all done. It's going to be your brother. This used to be Casey's room, and pretty much where Kaylee spent most of her time. Being in this room does make me feel close to Kaylee. I've got not just pictures of her, but just memories of her being in here, and she's always with you. This is where my memories are. This is where I raised the kids. Casey was 3 when we moved here. Kaylee was born here. We've spent most of our married life here. We've been married, 42 years?
Me too.
Our memories as we get older, they tend to fade. So when you look around and you see the familiar thing, it triggers it, and I have to hold on those memories. This is why this house means a lot to me. This is where we keep Kaylee's ashes. And I could put little things that remind me of her inside the box. And then, of course, have a picture of her. And I always loved with her peeking out. I mean, we captured her on camera so many times, and I thought this one just reminded me of her in the kitchen in the morning. After her bath in the morning, she'd come out and she'd want, her cereal or whatever. And a lot of times afterwards, she'd get under the high chair and play peekaboo with me. So that was one of my favorite pictures of her. I mean, the reason we picked cremation is because she wasn't whole anymore.
Exactly.
And I know she's in heaven. I know she's looking down on us. She's the guardian angel that kept George alive 5 years ago during his accident.
I've seen Kaylee 2 times in this house since she passed away. The very first time she was tapping, I was laying in bed, she tapped me on the right in the forehead with her little fingers, JoJo up, JoJo up. And it wasn't too much after that, I saw her one more time. It was just to let me know, JoJo, I love you, see you soon. And she was gone. No one can take that away from me.
They're asking, why haven't you wanted to hear the allegations against you?
In the beginning, we had heard rumors that Casey might be doing something, but I never thought that she would, because she had told me that she was never going to exploit Kaylee's name. Well, when I saw that it was coming on, I said, I'm not watching this crap, and if this is what she wants to do, that's fine. But as time went on, especially with, people now being hateful with accusations, did George molest Casey? Did he molest Kaylee? And we were like, what the, where is this coming out of? And we thought, this is crazy. So, maybe we should address these,
When her and I keep on really trying to get our lives together, have happiness in our lives, and I'll get a text message, something just so terrible to read, saying, pedophile, you effing this, and Cindy is this and that.
That baby girl deserves justice, and that won't happen until her grandfather, who's a pedophile, is behind bars.
And make you think, why can't somebody believe her but not believe us?
Exactly.
Casey, she still is today, she lies about everything. I wouldn't have a polygraph because it's going to prove one thing. I never did anything to harm my daughter or my granddaughter.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you for having me in your home. I was surprised to get the call that you were willing to talk and that you were willing to talk to me. Thank you. George, we're doing a polygraph examination with you today, in just a short period of time. And Cindy, you'll be taking one too. And I have to ask you both, why do you want to have this conversation?
The polygraph is going to give me some satisfaction knowing that I did everything that I possibly could to prove that, number one, I never assaulted or hurt my daughter in any way. And I certainly didn't do anything to my granddaughter.
Cindy?
I want people to understand. I want Casey to hear how we feel about what she said and what she's done. And we're going to get to the truth once and for all.
So we're doing a polygraph today.
Sounds like an execution.
Buffering. Sorry about that, everybody.
I just feel that I really need to leave this world. I used to think I was very strong emotionally. When we had this thing that changed our family, I said, Cindy, I have failed. I have failed on being the guy that I should be. Having a polygraph test, that would be a validation that I am the guy I used to be. The guy who can count on to help a neighbor, to love his wife, love my son. Even at one time, I really loved my daughter. But if I don't pass it, how can I stay around anymore? I don't want to go on after this.
So we've got an amazingly experienced examiner who believes it's best performed before you hear Casey's allegations.
Because of the emotions.
In short, yes. George, you will be asked 2 sets of questions. The first will address the sexual abuse allegations, and the second will address whether you were involved in Kaylee's disappearance in any way. So if you're good with that.
Yes, sir, ma'am.
Cindy?
Yes.
Yours will address whether George told you anything about any involvement he might have had in Kaylee's disappearance.
Sounds good.
This looks like a wonderfully peaceful neighborhood now. What was this like when your neighborhood had essentially been turned into a media encampment?
The worst part wasn't the media, it was the protesters.
The yelling, harsh. The signs reading everything from honk if you think she did it, to Casey is a killer, not much better.
The day that Casey was arrested, the sheriff's department drove right up 3 vehicles on our front yard, and they made a spectacle out of it on purpose. Within the first month, I had an anxiety attack. I got trapped by this reporter. Well, I had never had any panic attacks in my life prior to Kaylee's disappearance. And I developed post-traumatic stress disorder. I had to go through years of therapy, and it's taken a toll on both of us.
And forgive me for asking the most basic question, but how are you two?
We've had our
We
moments.
have good days and bad days.
Yeah. For sure.
She looks at him. They are
Listen,
trouble.
I understand that everybody processes things differently. George and I
Right,
went through
baby.
something very traumatic. Our marriage was fine for the most part, but when all this happened, we weren't on the same page even trying to find Kaylee and through the trial and all that. But I mean, every couple has things. I take my vows very seriously. We get comments from a lot of people, how do you guys stay together? And my response to them is, it's a daily struggle. Every day when he says, I don't want to be on this earth. And I said, is it because of me or what's happened? He says, it's all of it.
Look, I'm just wondering, what kind of effect do you think this polygraph will have on your marriage?
I know, I mean, if there's some inconclusive things, I understand that. I mean, I would be shocked if he was deceptive on it.
That would lead to other conversations.
Yeah, I mean, yes. And if I thought that any of this was true, believe me, we would be together.
Okay. All right. Obviously, this is where the exam will take place. Cindy, you and I are going to go ahead of George so that we can get set, the room can be set, our examiner can get set, and then you come on in and it'll all begin, all right?
Yep. We love it. Love you. Love you too.
Let me get this room.
The polygraph exam is conducted in a neutral location to minimize distractions, outside influences, and ensure a more reliable result.
Hello, how are you?
Both parents take the test.
My name is George Olifo. All right. I'm a retired FBI special agent, and I was a senior polygraph examiner.
2 Georges.
For the Los Angeles Division of the FBI from 2011 until I retired in 2020. I just want you to know, I'm not here to judge you. I understand. In fact, let's work together and resolve it today.
That's what I'm hoping for.
All right, that means we gotta be 100% honest with each other, okay?
Absolutely.
All right, perfect. So I recommended that Cindy and George take their polygraph examinations before they hear the allegations from their daughter, Casey.
That makes sense.
Because the allegations were very, very strong. and it's going to cause a lot of emotions. And at the end of the day, I'd like to have the most accurate results possible and not muddy the water with allegations from their own daughter before they take a test regarding those things. George, I want to ask you about you, scale of 1 to 10. You're a 10 on honesty, right? You're not here to tell the truth only when it's convenient, right?
No, not just what's convenient.
No, you're here to tell the truth all the time and be a 10 for me today, right?
Yes, because I remember when I have to.
Got no reason to doubt you. But let's just be clear. If you have anything to do with Kaylee's disappearance, then the polygraph's going to show that. You can think of polygraph as a fancy tape recorder. Rather than recording the voice, polygraph records physiology, what the body is saying, to determine if the person's telling the truth or not. If you've got nothing to hide from me today, the exam's going to show that as well. Physiology are things like heart rate, sweat gland activity, respiration, the information that the body gives off when it's reacting to a stimuli. You a little nervous? Someone is being truthful, then physiology ticks along normally, and the diagnostic features look kind of like a river just trickling along. Doesn't change course, keeps moving in the same direction. When someone's deceptive and they know it, they're lying, the thought process is, oh my gosh, what's going to happen if I get caught? I know I did this. And so instead of a river, it looks more like a volcano. How do you think you'll do on this exam regarding Kaylee's disappearance?
I hope I get a 10. I would cry. I'd fall down here and I would cry. Okay. I've got to believe for something I didn't do.
I understand it.
It tears me up inside.
I understand it. The average accuracy rate for polygraph is between 85 and 90%. Because unlike the spoken word, we say that physiology always tells the truth. In other words, the body never lies. If he's not telling the truth, he's not going to pass.
He knows how important it is. Should be exonerated by this.
So here's the thing about today, George. I mean, I know that it's emotional and everything else, but today's not about how much you're hurting. Today is only about telling the truth.
Sounds like an execution.
I want to figure out who did it.
We need to find this guy.
Brief intermission.
Somebody needs to be held accountable.
What are you out there? Ooh.
There's more to this story.
There's a bloody baseball bat in your car.
Somebody lying.
Yeah, brief intermission. Thank you all so much for joining me. Welcome to the Vault Excel. Please do not discuss the findings until it is revealed during the audio. Thank you so much. What will be Casey Anthony's response to these polygraphs results? Thank you for joining me. They're now giving a pre-test, going over questions before it starts.
Casey has claimed that when she was young, you came in the room and molested her. So there's two parts to this test. They're like two sides of a coin. Both sides are equally important. So the first side answers the question, did you do it? The other part answers the question, do you fit the profile of a person that would do that? The pre-test interview is where we discuss all the issues, tell them everything they need to know. Want to try and keep that foot movement to a minimum. Try to move your feet when you answer. Don't try to convince me with your answer. That's not necessary. Just a soft-spoken yes or no. We have to make that decision during the pre-test. Is this person suitable for testing? Are they lucid? Are they able to sit through this test and focus and pay attention? And you called yourself a 10 on the personal honesty scale, and you didn't lie about that, right? You didn't lie about that, right?
Yes. I didn't lie about that. I'm sorry.
All right.
I'm sorry.
You got to
Ooh,
right
Lordy.
there for a minute.
What
In a
a-
legitimate exam, there are no surprises. They actually go over every single question, so they know exactly what they're going to be asked. Because if they're not comfortable or they don't really understand what I'm getting at, then we're not going to have accurate results. You've been married to Cindy now for how long?
42 years.
Congratulations. You guys never cheated on Cindy, have you? Even an emotional affair, right?
I haven't.
Okay.
I have not.
All right. Have you always been a 10 on the sexual integrity scale?
That's interesting.
Yes.
Yes.
Because they said he did have an affair with a woman. Oh, Lord.
I guess when you're separated, it doesn't count.
Yikes.
I don't know.
He had an affair that was brought up in court.
How do you think he's feeling?
Ooh, Lordy.
As long as he will take his time and pay attention, he'll do fine.
If he's found to be untruthful or deceptive about those critical
That's really
questions,
hard. That would be like a mind-blowing type thing.
that would require you
Look at everything.
to look at everything.
I think so.
It could mark the end of your relationship with him.
And yeah, it could.
So George's first polygraph test focused mainly on the allegation that he abused Casey. And frankly, that's what I'd like to dive into now. So we're going to watch your daughter's telling her version of events, her story. And we've agreed you watched this for the first time after the polygraph so that it wouldn't upset you and possibly impact the results.
Very interesting.
But I'm sensing some tension after yesterday's polygraph.
Sure.
And it can change our life. They can change our life. This is serious.
You both ready to hear her allegations?
I want to go on as long as George feels comfortable. Taylor, can we just angle this a little bit? Just pull this side out a little so George is this way instead of having it back.
Yeah.
You want to see before we get started?
Actually, you might get work.
This is where he told her she was
You
bossy.
don't even want to try it. I'm not moving this. I'm not moving this. I want to move him this way so that he can see. I said,
Okay, so, whoo, Lord have mercy. It's about to get ridiculous now. She wants the furniture moved so he can see. I was trying not to interrupt because I want to keep the continuity of the information, but I had to interject. She wants the couch moved so he could face the TV and look at the TV because their furniture is like sitting side by side instead of a circular motion where everybody can look at each other and sitting on the furniture. So she wants him to see the TV. Let me finish. Oh, Lord have mercy. It's already getting ridiculous. Jesus Christ, help us. Damn, all of this because somebody killed a kid. See, this is the point. They wouldn't even have to be in this situation if it wasn't for this bat killing her kid. That's my opinion.
Can we try it? I didn't say to do it. I said, can we try it? I'm not even getting any consideration. I don't want to make this harder than it is. And that's not very much. I'm trying to help him because if he blows all this, he can end up in jail. I don't need her coming up here and saying.
They're now outside. She's gone outside the house. George is sitting alone besides the camera on him. What a world, man. Jesus Christ.
She's control all the time. So she's very controlling.
She's very controlling.
Completely. I'd rather have a wife that's controlling than one that just, okay, you do what you need to do. I want someone to be strong.
Let's try to start watching.
Oh, wow. I feel bad for these people. I don't know them, but this is bad. This is so bad. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate it.
I got you.
So I just want you to...
Prayers to these people because they need it bad.
Your daughter is suggesting in pretty vivid detail the kind of dysfunction that she says was a part of her upbringing. I need you to brace yourself because the allegations you're about to hear are pretty intense.
My nightmare last night, it was similar to other things that happened to me growing up.
What was the nightmare last night?
My father was holding me down and raping me.
Jesus Christ.
That happens again and again and again. When I was 8 years old, my father started to come into my room at night. I was physically hurt, and I can't tell mommy what happened.
She never called me mommy. She always called me mom.
She'll get mad at me. That's what I was told.
Wow. Wow.
Do you have any thoughts about watching her, seeing her in this light, telling her version of events?
And it hurts.
What she's saying is what you did to her
I know.
was so horrid that she repressed it.
Yeah, I know what that is. It's a good fabrication on her part. First thing is, I know she's lying. We know she's lying. For all the years she lived in this house with us, we were always happy with each other.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
To hear her make comments about our family hurt me, and I know it hurt him. were a loving family. Every family has ups and downs, but we were always able to get through it. That's a cave woman.
And you did, just for that.
I can't understand how her and I got into this where we did everything we could for her. How could this have happened?
Thank you.
Well, here's the thing too. There's no physical way for him to have sexual intercourse 3 to 4 times a week in that room without hearing it.
How many feet from your bedroom to where Casey's?
What, 30? And we always have our doors open. Everybody knows how protective I am of my children. I would have castrated him myself if I thought he did that.
Good afternoon, sweetheart.
I look at her right now. That's not the daughters that I remember being at this house.
Oh, Lordy. So sad. Man, this is sad.
All right, so the test is about to begin. Please remain still.
Brief intermission. Thank you all so much for joining me. I'm going to finish typing out this comment. This is tragedy because people don't really understand when things like this happen, it can tear a family apart. These two have been bickering ever since they have gone on public platforms to talk about the allegations against them, George, and her acquittal, Casey, of murdering the kid. And you're entitled to believe whatever you want pertaining to who's guilt, who's innocent. But the point is, it has torn these people apart. What I find interesting is that he was asked about having an affair, emotional affair. He said no. I'm assuming we'll talk about later what the results were. But the wife made sure to mention, well, he probably did feel that way because we weren't together. And that's the whole point about perception. If I believe something to be true, your perception of it may be different. Once you take that test, it can come out to say, well, they weren't telling the truth, even though it's really not the whole truth, is it? Because an affair is an affair, whether you are married, separated, so long as you are still married, that is your spouse. And as you see, with all the problems they've probably had since this incident of the baby, the daughter going to trial, and possibly they didn't have the greatest marriage beforehand. See, I don't know. It's just very interesting, that question. Did you have an affair or an emotional affair? And he answers no, but we do know that during trial, it was mentioned that he had an affair with a Hispanic woman, and she came to court to testify. Lord have mercy, the plot thickens. Thank you for joining me. One sec, I don't know where my volume is. Oh, Lordy. Sorry, everybody. Let me go back a little bit.
That he abused Casey. And frankly, that's what I'd like to dive into now. So we're going to watch your daughter's telling her version of events, her story. And we agreed you'd watch this for the first time after the polygraph so that it wouldn't upset you and possibly impact the results.
Sorry, I went back a little ways.
But I'm sensing some tension after yesterday's polygraph.
Sure are.
And they can change our life. They can change our life. This is serious.
You both ready to hear her allegations?
I want to go on as long as George feels comfortable.
That's
Taylor, can we just angle this a little bit? Just pull this side out a little so George
Just replaying.
is this way.
Sorry.
instead of having it back.
Yeah.
You wanna see before we get started?
Actually, it works so well the way it is.
Okay, Eric, you don't even wanna try it. It has. I'm not moving this. I wanna move him this way so that he can see. I said, can we try it? I didn't say to do it. I said, can we try it? I'm not even getting any consideration. I don't wanna make this harder than it is. And that's not very much. I'm trying to help him because if he blows on this, he can end up in jail. I don't need Eric to come up here and say, no, you can't do that.
Wow, wow, wow. What a marriage. Ooh, Lord mercy.
She wants to control all the time. Sydney's very controlling. I'll admit that completely. I'd rather have a wife that's controlling than a one that just, okay, you do what you need to do. I want someone to be strong.
Let's try to start watching this.
Of course, that can backfire. Strong personality down the road.
He's happy, I'm happy, we're good. I gotcha.
So I just want you to take a deep breath. Your daughter is suggesting in pretty vivid detail the kind of dysfunction that she says was a part of her upbringing. I need you to brace yourself because the allegations you're about to hear are pretty intense.
My nightmare last night, it was similar to other things that happened to me growing up.
What was the nightmare last night?
My father was holding me down and raping me.
Jesus Christ, come on.
That happens again and again and again. When I was 8 years old, my father started to come into my room at night. I was physically hurt, and I can't tell mommy what happened.
She never called me mommy. She always called me mom.
She'll get mad at me. That's what I was told.
Wow. Wow.
Do you have any thoughts about watching her, seeing her in this light, telling her version of events?
It hurts.
What she's saying is what you did to her
I know.
was so horrid that she repressed it.
Yeah, I know what that is. It's a good fabrication on her part. First thing is, I know she's lying. You know she's lying. For all the years she lived in this house with us, we were always happy with each other.
Happy birthday to you.
Casey's 12th birthday, 1998.
To hear her make comments about our family hurt me, and I know it hurt him. We were a loving family. Every family has ups and downs, but we were always able to.
She's opening gifts. Christmas. We're older.
Okay, woman.
I need a big room.
And you did, just for that.
I can't understand how her and I brought into this where we did everything we could for her. How could this have happened?
Exactly. I've asked that question.
Well, here's the thing too. There's no physical way for him to have sexual intercourse 3 to 4 times a week in that room without hearing it.
How many feet from your bedroom to where Casey slept?
What, 30? And we always have our doors open. Everybody knows how protective I am of my children. I would have castrated him myself if I thought he did that.
I look at her right now. That's not the daughters that I remember being at this house.
All right, so the test is about to begin. Please remain still.
Sorry about that. I went back and replayed. I kind of went back a little ways, let people rehear what was said because I had interjected. A lot has been said by Mr. George. Doesn't recognize her. And I said this too the other day, or my recent commentary today. How could you turn on your parents and implicate them in the death, murder of your own child? That's a cold bitch. And that means you've been that way because this all happened when she was just in her early 20s. Just saying.
Regarding sexual contact with Casey, do you intend to lie on this test?
No.
Did you ever have sexual contact with Casey?
No.
Did you ever touch Casey for sexual gratification?
No.
Have you ever cheated on your wife, Cindy?
No. I don't know what the experts say about body language, but how do you feel about his body language?
If George is uncomfortable, he'll fidget.
What's going on here?
Oh, just trying to figure out what to do with my hands.
Wow.
Stop moving your feet, George.
I'm sorry.
Way too much. As an adult, have you ever had sexual contact with a minor?
No.
This part of the test is over. Please remain still. We're going to have to do it a few times.
Yes, I'm ready to
Okay
go.
with that?
Yes, sir.
Did you ever touch Casey for sexual gratification?
No.
So on the polygraph exam, there's a lot of redundancy built into the protocol. So we ask
Of course.
the same
Questions,
several
yes,
times.
exactly.
Have you ever cheated on your wife, Cindy?
No.
And we come up with basically a pattern of truthfulness or a pattern of deception. Have you always been a 10 on the sexual integrity scale?
Yes.
Did you ever have sexual contact with Casey?
No.
Very interesting.
George's first test really wasn't just about whether or not he abused Casey. This is crucial because what Casey says is that the abuse didn't stop with her. I'm going to show you a clip from your speech at the funeral.
I stand here today, proud to be the grandfather of Kaylee Marie, who not only meant the world to me, but meant the world to my family, and so many of you that never got a chance to actually hug her, smell her hair, smell the sweet sweat when she came in from outside. To hear her call me JoJo, I miss that kiss on the cheek, that special hug that I tell everyone, it's so great to get a hug from someone, but to get a hug from a small child, that gives me energy like you couldn't imagine.
Oh, I see where she's going.
Yeah, I see it too. Oh, Lordy.
Do you see what she's going at, George?
Yeah. Like he's fantasizing about a baby.
Nothing about that is normal. You're outright telling the world that you're a pedophile.
Wow. I'm just a little confused. This whole statement about the sweet smell of sweat.
When I said I smelled her hair and that sweet sweat that she had, I did. It was just the truth in my heart how I felt about my granddaughter. Whenever our granddaughter would be outside, when you had a chance to hold her, she would give hugs that were just so fantastic. You would smell just a gentle. I'm supposed to do push my granddaughter when I see you stink.
Right.
I felt
This is
great
terrible.
to get that hug from her and
Whew.
have that.
Lord have mercy. I'm sinking up
For her
here.
to call me what she just called me,
A pedophile.
yeah. That was never in my physicality or my brain.
You loved hugging your kids when they were little.
I
You
did.
love hugging your granddaughter. But as Casey's writing the narrative,
You're right.
I see where she is going to use that against you.
Is this the first time you've heard this suggestion that you were molesting your granddaughter?
Oh, this right here, yeah, it's the first time I've heard this. Wow.
Did you molest Kaylee?
Well, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
So this is another allegation against you.
Certainly is.
I want to dig into this just a little bit more. You mind if I take him out on the patio?
Oh, that's fine.
All this in and out this damn door. Give it a rest.
I always loved his children. Did everything I could for them. But to know that I can't see her anymore.
Exactly.
I've said that a few times in the past, but it's the truth now. But she's not a part of my family.
Exactly.
I'm sitting here as a father, and I'm wondering what the hell that was like for you, hearing all of those allegations.
Mm.
Is there a kernel of truth to any of the allegations she's leveled against you?
None. All I really know is I can't really say I'm going to survive this moment, but I know when I die, I know where I'm going. I don't think Casey's going to be going in that same place. I don't believe that.
Okay.
Either you're lying or she's lying.
Well,
and the results are coming back.
Mercy.
Okay, so George, let's take a break, okay? So we're done with this.
George Olivo, he is the former FBI agent conducting this.
I want to figure out who did it.
Brief intermission. You know, a lot of people are descriptive when they talk. This is what I talk about. Even though he's a cop, he should know better, a former cop. You have to be very careful what you say pertaining to your feelings, your emotions about a person or human, because people can misconstrue it. She's a liar to me, so it doesn't really matter. You know, I pray this man had nothing to do with molesting her or the baby, but she's a liar. That's what people should focus on. She is the one that's lied. They've got verification she's lied. That's good enough for me. Because you lie about one thing, you lie about another. Thank you for joining me. Let's resume.
Gosh. So George has one more exam to go.
Perfect. We can get that cuff for you.
But he's going to get a bit of a break, and you'll take your test now.
Okay.
Both parents take the test. She's going to be tested on if he told her about the death of the kid or not. She also will do pre-testing. They're kissing, hug each other.
Get through this.
I know you are. I know you are.
The one thing about it, they are still together. Just it's a long road staying together.
I'll ask you a couple of questions about you, right, to get to know you a little bit better. Make sure that you're fit to take the test today, okay? How much sleep did you get last night?
Okay,
Maybe
both.
4 hours.
Feel rested enough to be focused right now?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, good. And medications, you said you take blood pressure?
I take blood pressure medicine and I take anxiety medicines. I have anxiety issues since all of this happened. I have gone through post-traumatic stress treatments.
Okay. In terms of you being in control, functional, how would you rate your mental health on a scale of 1 to 10?
With this Casey stuff, I lost control a couple times with her. Not where I hurt her, but I put her on the floor and sat on her.
So you lost it.
Well, I mean, I yelled at her. I wanted to shake her, but I didn't. So I mean, she's lying to my frame of mind is.
Slow down, Kate, slow down.
Right.
I'm asking you
Right.
about your mental health, and you're getting way ahead of me here.
Okay.
How do you feel mentally in terms of being in control and being normal?
On a daily basis, I feel in control.
You are, okay. That's all I asked you so far.
Right.
When's the last time you saw Casey, your daughter?
The last time I physically saw her was in 2016, the day that my father died. She came and she spent the whole evening with me, and the next day,
How was
she
that?
passed in the morning. It was fine. I mean, her and I were on good terms. We were chatting all the time.
So what happened?
Interesting. What
So
happened?
At this point, so far,
Wow.
most of the focus has been on George.
Yes.
But Cindy, I've got to tell you, people have long suspected that you have been hiding the truth as well. I know there are allegations that she makes about your relationship and your nature. Casey's about to point the finger directly at you.
I don't know. She's such a liar. It's in her DNA now. I want to see her attached to a lie detector test.
What you have to realize about my mom when I was younger, she was extremely controlling. she tried to make sure I dressed as young as I possibly could to look as young as I possibly could. It's not just feeling like my mom wanted to keep me a child. I feel like she was trying to, yes, keep me from being a sexual being.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So you were a willing participant in the lie.
Yeah, we talked about me being a little obsessive compulsive and keeping the house right and making sure the kids' clothes were pressed, because I did iron their clothes for them. But it's not about lying about her being sexually abused or trying to be a perfect family. She's telling me she's being raped by my husband, but I won't let her be a little girl. Now, am I grooming her for her dad? I don't understand all that. We've got albums of seeing how she looked. You can see that I did dress her as a 3-year-old when she was 16. Turn around, darling. Say hello. Hello. You look beautiful. Look at Casey's on stilts tonight.
I'm gonna break her.
Oh, look at how beautiful that little smile is. Don't smooch her and mess up her little hair or her hair.
Let me ask you this. Do you know Kaylee's dad?
I have no clue. First, she blamed her boyfriend, Jesse. And then after we find out from a paternity test it's not Jesse, then she tells me that it's somebody else who's died in a car accident.
The story's changing.
Exactly.
Stories constantly.
That's the purpose of a pathological
How did you
liar.
get pregnant with Kaylee? I was raped at 18.
Raped at 18?
Did you report it to the police?
Oh, Lord. I'm sinking up here.
Wasn't sure anyone would believe me.
Oh, I never heard that.
Wow.
The person that I would have told would have been my mom. And would she have believed me? Would she have blamed me?
Blame.
What's your reaction to
Wow.
that the pregnancy was a result of the rape?
Maybe she was raped, but why would she tell me? She told me when she had sex for the first time. And did I yell at her? No, we sat on the bed. I hugged her. I was her buddy. We were best friends.
My.
Casey had left me cards and stuff over the years. I pulled out most of them after.
Truly blessed to have the two of you in my life. I would have nothing without you. And she signs it, love, Casey Marie.
Mm-hmm. This one, words can't describe how grateful I am for you and all that you've done. You have given me so many things to be thankful for. You are such a great mother and now grandmother, but most importantly, such a great friend. I have you to thank for all of my happiness and all my success. I thank God every day for having you in my life. I love you, Mom. I'm so proud to be your daughter. I hadn't read this one lately. So that was right after Kaylee was born. I was her friend besides her mother. And that's what I always thought.
Well, that's pretty heartbreaking.
Yeah. And then she got very hateful. I'm going to once again ask to come and retrieve my daughter's ashes as well as more of her property and anything else of mine that's still in your house.
Wow.
And I text back,
Listen
sorry,
at that.
there's nothing here for you to pick up. I'm not parting with her ashes. That's all you gave me of her in the end. I'm not trying to be mean. That's how I feel. This is her response, and this is the ugliest thing ever. Stay with your murderous, adulterous, rapist husband. You don't deserve any part of her. And you will never again have any part of me. You choose your husband over both your grandchild and your children. Biggest mistake of your life.
Are you hearing that?
There to pick up my daughter's ashes when you're dead.
Woo!
Thank you for the reminder of who you really are. Goodbye. I will never reach out again. I was so upset. I had to text her back. Your father didn't touch you or Kaylee. You need help. How dare you? Don't ever say that I don't deserve any part of her. I fought for her when you put her in the woods to rot, beat, and
say that. Say it.
Live with that. And then I text her the images of Kaylee's remains in the
Woo!
woods.
Come on with it, Mama.
I said, this is what was left of Kaylee when you went
Oh,
down,
I'm about to
scattered all
cry.
over the woods
Oh.
of Suburban. You put her there.
Oh my God, I'm so emotional right now. Oh. I'm trying not to interject during this live stream. This is so heinous. How dare you ask your parents for the remains of this baby? How dare you ask for the remains? Accuse this man of molesting you and your baby, and then also covering it up, asking you to help cover it up. And Cindy, you aided this kid to be this monster. I know that may seem cruel, but I do believe there were signs that your child was off in childhood, high school. You didn't read the signs. Because you continue to talk to this demon after she was found not guilty of murder. And that tells me a lot of your thought process. This is the reason why you and George don't get along right now. It's because you appear controlling to some. He said out his own mouth, I'm not here to say that George is a liar. This is his perception of his wife. And this is possibly why this family unit was not what you all thought it was, because this is what people need to understand about photographs and videos. It is just, what is the word I'm looking for? An assumption. Just because you see people opening Christmas presents, talking back and forth, doing audio, video, people hugging kids and all that type of shit, nice house, Christmas tree, whatever the event is, it does not mean that shit is right. Because I think we know now with this commentary that they have bickered probably way before the girl went missing. They're still bickering because of the implications that he touched both people. I mean, the child, the baby, and the mother. They have had dysfunction. And it didn't play out until the disappearance of the girl child and then finding her body and then bringing the mother to justice. One moment. Sorry about that. There's been dysfunction. And I pray that he didn't touch his kid or touch this baby. It never dawned on me one bit, because what I use is deduction in a story. There are always going to be secrets and lies in a family. That's given. But I focus on Casey because she's the one standing trial, not the father, not the mother, not the brother, not the utility worker. You stood trial for murder. And I'm looking at the evidence brought to the state. I do not see how people could not have found her guilty. I'm baffled. Even today, it's 2024. Why not? Let's finish this commentary, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to the Vault Excel. Oh, Lord have mercy. I'm just beside myself right now.
I had always said she could have Kaylee's ashes after I passed, but now I don't want her to have them, period. I will make sure I spread them somewhere before I pass, because she doesn't deserve them. So now there's no hope of any reconciliation.
Amen. Finally.
Not just with George, but now with me, because of the blow up that we had. And she thinks no longer can I have a relationship with my mom. Now I can just let it all go, say what a bitch she is and how controlling she was.
Yeah.
You know, it all fits into her narrative now.
And she possibly got that from Cindy.
Like the victim instead of what she really is.
Which is?
Responsible for whatever happened to Kaylee. I still don't know the truth.
Do you believe your daughter knows what happened?
Yes, I believe 100%. And I kept hoping on hope that she would.
Finally said it.
And that's the only reason I've been put myself through all her drama and everything.
Absolutely correct.
Exactly.
Since June 16, 2008, Kaylee has been my #1 priority as far as what happened to her and getting her back. I lost Casey and my granddaughter that day, but Kaylee was always the priority. Kaylee's always been the priority. That's been my focus and goal the whole time, is to find out the truth. And to sit here and listen to her keep making different stories as it fits.
Yeah, exactly. But it doesn't fit, sweetheart. That's for those who are gullible.
I have a hard time. I don't have a feeling exactly. I'm sorry. I take my anxiety pills. I'm sorry.
She's left sitting on the couch to go take her pills. Oh, mercy. What a debacle. Hello, sweetheart.
I'll take her with you.
He's holding her.
I'm starting to lose it. I'm starting to faint. I'm starting to pass out. I don't know what.
I would not wish this on anyone, to deal with this type of trauma, because this is a terrible place to be accused of child molestation and also covering up the death of a child. Because there are people who are going to believe this farce by Casey Anthony. Hello, sweetheart.
You can go ahead, have a seat.
Sorry about that, buffering a bit. Let's take a brief intermission, because there's an intermission in between the content. Thank you all so much for joining me. God bless all of you. Happy Sunday to the viewing audience. I've got 75 in the room. My head hurts. This is why I don't like talking about kid stories, because it becomes ridiculous. You know, everything that comes with it. See, it's more than just who did it, why, the motive, if they got off, whatever, no investigation, no arrest. This is what happens. These people have been traumatized by the allegations and the death of a baby. This is why they're bickering back and forth. And I'm not here to say that they weren't bickering before the little girl went missing. But the point is, we would have never known that. They would have been just two vessels floating in the night. And that's the whole point of true crime. You don't know people. You don't know what they were going through. You just get a glimpse when they decide to go live and talk to platforms about what happened. But in the end, they were regular people. They are regular people. These people could be living a decent ass life had they not spawned this demon. But what can you do about it? Nothing. There's nothing you can do. Nothing they can do. But Cindy upheld her after the fact, and I have a problem with that. You upheld this demon. Just like she was sitting here in this commentary, I want to hear the results. I want to see this. I want to see that. So that would make a person wonder, did you at some point think that your husband could have been involved in molesting your girl child and also your grandbaby? And naturally, that would offend him. How the hell would you think I'd do that? But then the flip side is that children are molested. And that's what will be really jacked up. She killed this kid, but then she was molested by her father. Girl child, Kaylee, was molested as well. That would just be devastating. But would it have something to do with the death of the kid? See, it's a toss of the coin. So let's just say hypothetical, he molested both. But it really didn't have anything to do with the death of the kid. The mother just wanted to check out, do her own thing, dump the baby a mile away from the house. But I don't believe any of it. But I'm just saying hypothetical. If it ever got out during trial at that time, if there was a receipt that he molested both, nobody would even focus that Casey actually killed her own damn kid. And then look at the end result. She did get off. Oh, Lordy. What a mess. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Brief intermission. Oh, mercy. I don't wish this on anybody, because this is terrible. And we've seen what happens with trauma of death, with children going missing, dead. It affects the family. And a lot of people have divorced because of trauma of a death of a child. I've seen it here in Knoxville, Tennessee, with Shannon Christian. Her parents are no longer together because of her murder.
How much sleep did you get last night?
maybe 4 hours.
Feel rested enough to be focused right now?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, good, good. Now, you've been married to George out there for how long?
42 years we've been married,
Wow.
42 and a half years.
Congratulations. Not too many people can say that. So how would you rate your relationship with George, your husband, on a scale of 1 to 10? 1 horrible, you fight all the time, and 10 is perfect.
Probably 6 or 7.
6 or 7, okay.
It's never been perfect.
Okay.
We were not on the same page for quite a while,
Okay.
you know, during this whole thing.
Did putting your marriage at a 6 to 7 hurt? Yeah, then again, that's just her.
What is the biggest disagreement that you and George have had regarding this whole issue with Casey and Kaylee?
He thinks Casey may have drugged Kaylee, and that came from the sheriff's department. I believe he was brainwashed
Into thinking that
because the sheriff's department tried to do it with me, and it's
Yeah.
like there's no evidence of
you
it.
wouldn't have it. So what do you think? What's your theory then?
Prior to trial, Jose, her attorney, called me in, wouldn't tell me why, just me. He goes, Casey wants you to know how Kaylee died. And he grabbed me because he knew I was probably gonna faint. And he goes, she drowned in the pool. And I said, what the hell did you put us through all this? What the heck? If it was an accident, we could have taken care of it right then and there. He
Lie
goes, "I
number
have to
1.
Explain away her actions. Someone has to take the fall for it. And he said, it's gonna have to be George. No one else will believe anything. And I looked at him and I said, you're not doing anything to George.
Why do you believe she believes that account and not yours?
She just believes Casey more than she does me. She just does. Because and one thing, I don't believe anything that Jose Baez ever said.
Exactly.
I still believe that Kaylee was given some kind of drug to go to sleep. Because I feel she wanted to be out having fun with her friends. You know how hard it was for me to go in front of the grand jury? He kept asking me the same kind of questions. Who do you believe is responsible? Casey. No matter what happened, drowning, giving
And
me
you
some
said that before the grand jury.
I most certainly did, sir. I most certainly did. I didn't pull any punches. I will go probably to my grave, always believing that Casey harmed Kaylee.
Look, the burning question has always been, what happened to Kaylee on the day she disappeared?
This is extremely important for George and I. This is what we had disagreed upon for the last 15 years.
Casey has a completely new version of what happened on the day Kaylee disappeared. And it all starts with George waking her up and with Kaylee nowhere to be found.
They came back around towards the front porch. He's standing there with her. She's soaking wet. I can see him standing there with her in his arms and hand her to me and telling me that it's my fault, that I did that, that I caused that. And I just collapsed with her in my arms.
Casey knows CPR. I made her take classes.
Exactly. Thank you,
He
ma'am.
takes her from me. He immediately softens his tone and tells me it's going to be okay. That she was going to be okay.
Father too. Why have you not called 911?
I wanted to believe him because I wanted her to be okay.
She can say that so easy.
And George, you're hearing this from your daughter's mouth for the first time.
Does that make sense to any rational person?
No, it does
sane
not.
Person? You would hand off a lifeless baby soaking wet and
She
not
can take
attempt
care of
to
her.
do
Yes,
something?
exactly.
Yes. George knew CPR from the sheriff's department. He was
Well, George, you would
certified.
know, wouldn't you?
He was certified in CPR.
Well, you gotta start speaking up for yourself.
Yes.
This is all coming down on you.
I know it is.
And if you've got information that refutes this, you need to speak up for yourself.
Well, I understand that. Everything I know that Casey is saying right there is a lie. But I'm gonna tell you something. I don't believe that our daughter could leave her daughter in my arms
Exactly.
soaking wet. That does not compute in my life. It will never compute in my life.
I may wear this theme out.
Wear it out.
Okay, what is the nugget of truth in this story?
Exactly.
What
Thank you.
happened
Thank you. Glad he
based
asked
on
that.
the story she's telling us
The first nugget of truth was.
Let me pause before Cindy and George gives their answer. I was just sitting here thinking that because as I've told you with true crime, there's always a bit of truth in the fabrication, the lies. I always remember that. Even if a person is spinning your story, it doesn't even have anything to do with murder or mayhem. There is some truth to what they're saying. Sometimes. Let me specify. Sometimes. Okay? Sometimes. But as I said to you all earlier in the last live stream I did, and I brought Casey Anthony's case into it, first thing I said is, this man is a former cop. Why would he not call 911 to say, hey, I found the baby in the pool. She must have wandered out the gate and got in a swimming pool, number one. Why would he hide the baby if he knew CPR and could try to save the baby? Most children who drown in a pool, that's usually what parents do. They call 911 to say, oh, I found the baby in the pool, or, whatever the circumstances are. And a lot of drownings in swimming pools, whether they're public or private, there is no arrest of the parent, the guardian. I mean, you got a famous person, Usher. His son was found in the swimming pool dead. Nobody arrested him. Nobody arrested nobody. You used deduction. Somebody wasn't watching the child. So in this case, no different. I'm running out, see the baby in the pool. I'm going to jump in, get the baby out, do CPR. Nothing. Let me call 911. Please hurry. I'm trying to do 911. The baby's not breathing. I can't see George wrapping her up and taking her to dump in the damn forest down the street. Come on, stop it. This girl lied to law enforcement. That's the only charge that she was found guilty of, was lying. That's why I think the 12 members of the jury need their asses whooped. You can believe that she lied. You can find her guilty. Let's just keep it real. Think about this, what I'm saying, because I'm getting pissed off now. You can find her guilty for lying about her job, going to work, being fired, whatever, staying with the boyfriend. The baby ain't seen. The boyfriend never saw the fucking baby. But you could vote, oh, yeah, she ain't killed her kid. This is bullshit. That's why I said the people, the 12 members of the jury, the hell is wrong with you? You're gonna find her guilty on lying to the authorities. But she can't be the same liar that killed her kid. Her car was towed. They found the car, went in the car, smelled funky in the car. Test done on the car. Cadaver dog done on the car. Oh, it's all lies. Florida has the harshest penalties on the book for crimes against children, murder, such as California. But yet 12 goofy-ass people in the state of Florida let her go. And I have a problem with that. Because you hear the mother saying, oh, George knew CPR. Exactly. Why am I getting ready to go dump my grandbaby off in the fucking woods and let's say she wandered in the pool? I'm going to get her out of the pool, do CPR. Nothing's going on. Okay, let me get you a phone and tell somebody, please hurry. My baby, she wandered in the pool some type of way. She must have got through the gate or the gate was open. Whatever the circumstances are. Children drown in swimming pools every damn day. They do not get arrested. Say it again, Queen. Kids do not get, the parents, guardians do not get arrested. They just say, well, it was an accident. But in the end, you are responsible for the child. Let's flip that coin. You are responsible for a child, period. Pool or no pool. Pond, no pond. Let's finish this, everybody. Because I done got pissed off now. Just bullshit.
Casey woke up. Couldn't find Kaylee. So that means she was distracted. Didn't know where Kaylee was at. She finds her in the pool, lifeless, panics. The reason she brings George into it is because who did Jose say he was going to throw under the bus to save Casey's life from the death penalty and life in prison? George. based on the
Exactly.
Because
fact.
this is what she's saying in her own words now. There's no Jose Baez
Right.
sitting next to
But
her.
Jose is the one that put the idea in her
Exactly.
head.
Somebody did
Why
it.
is she-
Somebody.
She's acquitted. She doesn't have to tell the story.
Exactly.
So why is she?
Yeah. No, I think Casey has thought about that over the years.
Yeah.
And created
Yeah,
it
exactly.
in her mind to cope
Exactly.
with his
Her part.
drowning
Yeah.
on her watch.
Exactly.
Does that sound reasonable to you?
The child never
That's
drowned.
Reasonable.
I don't believe that.
Reasonable.
But that's the negative truth, George.
I understand that, but also with me being out there and bringing Kaylee in to give it to her, that's a really big fabrication because it did not freaking happen that way. It did not happen. I don't believe that. How many times I will hear, she drowned in the pool, she drowned in the pool. If you want to say that, you want to say it, that's fine. I know what my feelings are. I know what I saw in evidence. I saw it.
Let me stop him right there.
Okay, fine.
No,
There's
listen.
something, this is over for me.
No,
This is done. This is done. I will not
Tony,
stand
can
here
I?
and you keep defending her.
I'm not
Yes, you
defending her.
are.
Tell him I'm not defending her.
Yes, you are.
Can I
Yes, you are.
Can I
Yes.
suggest what the bridge is? Can I suggest what the bridge is?
Him not listening to what I said.
I have no idea how what you said, and maybe even the way you said it, impacted him. But the three of us are gonna work together. If we're gonna get through this, because there's still a piece of this allegation that you haven't heard, and it's big. The lead investigator of Casey's defense team, Pat McKenna, sat down with Casey. I want you both to have a look.
We never discussed this, but when he abused you, was there anything that he did that you would make you think he did that to Kaylee to cause the accident? Yeah.
Absolutely. If I didn't want to, or if I said no, he'd put a pillow over my face and he'd smother me to knock me out.
That could be the accident.
Possible.
The stitched together allegation is that you may have smothered Kaylee while abusing her sexually and made it look like a drowning to cover it up.
Lord have mercy. I
You wanna say anything
can't.
to
Jesus
It's
Christ.
a lie. That is a lie. I would never do that. I haven't done that. It's not in my brain to do anything like that. It's my daughter, but especially my granddaughter. Oh my gosh, that's one of the cool.
Oh, Lord have mercy. I gotta get off this live. I'm about to go off. You see, a killer will put a little bit of salt into the storyline to show you they are guilty. Please listen very carefully to what I'm saying. What are the odds that she would say, new version, I think he smothered her while sexually assaulting her? Well, if I'm a pedophile, come on with it, Queen, they ain't ready. I'm a pedophile. Nobody knows I'm abusing my kid or the neighbor or whoever. Why am I going to smother you? She's a baby. She ain't telling nobody that I've been touching her. That's why I know this bitch did it. Man, I'm about ready to shut this live down. I'm so damn upset. See, I use deduction because I've been in the world 52 plus years. I know people. And right now I'm about ready to cry because I'm so fucking pissed off. He ain't getting ready to smother no kid and he touching her. If he is getting gratification, any pedophile gets gratification for molesting a baby. They not getting ready to kill the baby while they are touching them. This, oh my God, I can scream. Oh my God, this is so ridiculous to me. A person doesn't know that you are molesting a kid. You're not going to kill the kid. You're sick. You're wacko. You would only do it in a dire situation. So if nobody knew he's molesting this baby, he's not going to kill her. Oh my God. The 12 people who found her not guilty. don't have no respect for you. I don't know where you are in the world. I don't have no respect for you. And I understand the law tells you to weigh the evidence, but I know I watched the trial. I don't see how you thought she was not complicit. She was gone from this fucking house. She and the baby were not at this house for over a month. And the fact that you would let a fucking lawyer tell you that this man hurt this kid and hurt her, there's something wrong with you mentally. There is something wrong with you. Because these people, if they were complicit, they could have easily let it ride and never called 911 when they found that damn car. Wow. This is bad.
Coolest things I ever been accused of in my life.
The cruelest, yes.
It is.
Why is the daughter the two of you raised making the cruelest accusation against her father?
So I'm going to tell you about polygraph, what it is now. It's based on the autonomic nervous system, that fight or flight response.
Right.
It occurs when someone tells a lie. And it's the perception of jeopardy of getting caught in a lie. So you said that you're, painfully honest, right? So
I call
on a
people
scale of 1 to
honest.
10, you're a 10 on honesty, right?
I tell the truth all the time.
Okay.
It's important.
Okay.
Unless it's in someone's best interest. Like if it's, to me, that's not a untruthful lie. It's just
It's a truthful lie.
Cindy is about to take the lie detector test. The public has long suspected that Cindy hid knowledge she had about a granddaughter's death. Therefore, Cindy's polygraph will focus on whether George told her about the involvement he had in Kaylee's disappearance. Well, I've never thought that. So
this whole time when Kaylee was missing and everybody was frantic looking for her, the whole idea, the whole questioning here, it has to do with if George knew anything about it. My question is here, if George ever told you anything about him being involved in Kaylee's disappearance?
No. If there was any inkling,
right,
I would have alerted the sheriff's department. Even covering up what happened to her, even if it was an accident, is still a crime.
As you look at her here, are you anxious? Are you nervous? Are you confident?
I'm anxious for this to get done for her.
Yeah.
Okay, so the test is about to begin. Please remain still. Regarding George confirming his involvement in Kaylee's death, do you intend to lie on this test?
No.
Did George ever confirm that he was actively involved in Kaylee's death?
No.
Did George ever confirm that he actively participated in Kaylee's disappearance?
No.
Did George ever say that he knew where Kaylee was while she was missing?
No.
This part of the test is over. Please remain still.
Just wish she'd have to go through this stuff. All the stuff she's been through. With me, with her daughter.
All right, go ahead and recover. So I'm going to go ahead and analyze the data. I think I have enough here, okay? And then get the results to you
Okay.
in a couple of days.
I mean, it is what it is. I mean, you can't change what you know or you don't know.
Exactly.
She's all done.
But feel free to stand up whenever you're ready, so you can stretch your legs.
Stiff.
I know, it hurts.
For 31 days after her daughter's death, Casey admits to hiding this tragedy from everyone, including the authorities. But there have long been these theories that other people, other parties were involved in the concealment of the crime as well.
Interjection. That's the point of the story. Your father has witnessed a drowning after the fact. Isn't that what you said during trial, ma'am? And the father covered it up and dumped the baby. I've always said this beforehand. Casey Anthony, why would you allow your father to pass you a wet, dead baby. Checkmate. What do you care? My baby's dead. Hell no. I ain't getting ready to lie for my daddy, mama, or nobody. That's why I know you killed that kid. You see, I listen to everything. And there's no way in hell I'm getting ready to sit here and watch you hand me my dead baby and go along with you disposing of the damn baby if it was an accident. Come on with it, Queen. They ain't ready. It's an accident. So why the fuck am I going to allow you to take my baby and dump my baby in the fucking woods? And why would my daddy put duct tape? Come on, Queen. Ooh, they ain't ready. My daddy gonna put duct tape over the baby with a sticker and all that because she drowned in a swimming pool. Oh, stop the bullshit. You done implicated your brother, your father for touching you. Then it's the baby drowned in the swimming pool. Then Peacock brings you along with their stupid asses to put you on Front Street for this ridiculous rendition of lies. You the same bitch that lied about Zanny the Nanny. Had them walk all around Walt Disney in Florida where you allegedly supposed to have a job and hadn't been working. Come on, Queen, they ain't ready. And then finally you turned around in the hallway and told the detective, oh, I don't work here. But yet, 12 members of the jury couldn't accept that information. Well, if she lie about working and having a job, why wouldn't she lie about killing her kid? Because as somebody said, every place she mentioned was factual. It was a factual place, but the participants did not exist. And you heard that information in court, and you still found her not fucking guilty. The fuck is wrong with you people? What person gonna go tell you, go take you on a tour to Mickey Mouse Land, knowing they ain't work there, but I'm supposed to believe you the same person wouldn't have harmed your damn kid? Pictures of you on tables dancing, getting that La Vida whatever tattoo, and the baby ain't been seen by nobody. Not the boyfriend, not the parents, not Pookie, Ray, nobody. But you ain't thought about where the hell she was while she was dancing on the tables, taking photographs while she was out on this hiatus for 31 fucking days. It didn't dawn on you, well, where the hell is her child? Oh, her daddy did it. He touched the baby. He dropped the baby over there up the street. Sounds stupid.
This is another chapter in this story. This is, in some ways, the most compelling part of this story for me, these 31 days. That is the next portion that I want to take apart in some detail. Now we're at a place where Casey is telling an entirely different story about the events of those days.
Yeah, during the 31 days, I genuinely believe that Kaylee was still alive. My father kept telling me she was okay. I just had to keep following his instructions.
What a good actress you are.
She is an actress.
Bingo card. Come on with it, Queen. Woo! Shut your mouth. Lord have mercy. Did you hear that? I believe my baby was alive. You just contradicted yourself, Casey Anthony. How did your father hand you a dead baby wringing wet, but you still believe that she was alive? I be damned. See, this is why I tell you to always go back to the beginning of the story. Listen to all information brought to you by everybody involved in the story. You will see the lie for yourself. You just contradicted yourself, you dizzy bat. Your father gonna show you a dead kid wet, but yet you believe the girl was alive. Well, it's either she alive or she dead. Which is it? You just told on yourself that you lied. She was wringing wet, dead, daddy handed her to me, da-da-da-da. Oh, but I believe she was still alive. She can't be alive and can't be dead at the same time. And Peacock, you need your ass beat too for going up there interviewing her with this bullshit. Knowing fucking well you sitting here got a cameraman on her That don't even make no fucking sense. Daddy killed the baby because he SA'd her. She drowned. Well, which is it? She was SA'd or she drowned? Come on with it, Queen. Say it again, Queen. She was SA'd, she drowned. Which is it? Oh, I think he smothered her while he was sexually assaulting her. Well, where the swimming pool come in then? Ding, 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 ding. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, he SA'd her, killed her, and then threw her in the pool to make it look like she drowned, right? And then he gonna take a dead baby out the swimming pool wet and come to you and say, oh, the baby drowned. I'ma hide her. Don't you tell nobody. Don't you tell nobody. I killed your kid or your kid died. So you want me to believe you stood there, hypothetical, saw a wet baby dead, and didn't think to call 911. You gonna go along with your daddy saying, oh, we gotta cover this up. We don't want anybody to think we did anything to her. I did anything to her. I'm gonna hide the baby. Don't you say anything. Do you know how preposterous this sounds? Yeah, okay. Lord have mercy, give me strength.
Came in worth listening.
What's in her head and her heart where she could say something like that?
When someone can't deal with themselves, with what they did, they project it onto someone else or make excuses. I mean, come on, girl, she can't keep her story straight.
If I'm to believe your daughter, you gave her instructions on how to behave in those 31 days. Did you speak to her?
No, I did not.
Did you text her?
No, I did not.
Did you receive a text from her?
No, I did not.
How did you receive any information about your daughter during these 31 days?
Through Cindy. Cindy told me that she had talked to Casey, everything is good, Kaylee's fine, blah, 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 and all that stuff. So I believed each time she told me.
So you were in touch with her?
Yeah, I talked to her almost every day, and I told the sheriff's department that. They had our phone records. They could verify if she talked to her dad or to me. So I called more for Kaylee than I did for Casey. A month is a long time not to see your granddaughter who lived with you for almost
bingo
3
card.
years.
Say that.
And the problem that many people in the public have with you during this period is that you appear to be very accepting of what your daughter
But I
was.
wasn't.
It sounded that way publicly. Can you acknowledge that?
Because publicly during all this time, they didn't know what I did. They didn't know that I called every day. They didn't know that I hounded her brother. Have you seen your sister?
The other thing you didn't do was call the authorities.
But what?
That my
Okay.
daughter and my granddaughter are missing. And George, you didn't either. So I'm just saying, in my time with you, you don't strike me as a woman who would accept that. How did we get
Wow.
31 days?
That's
Okay,
deep.
but why would I call? Okay, think about it. 21-year-old mother with her own baby. Casey told me Kaylee was fine. Her story is that she dropped the baby off at the babysitter, Zenaida Fernandez Gonzalez, who does not exist. Why am I going to call the authorities and say, hey, Casey's in Jacksonville, won't bring my granddaughter home so I can see her? They're going to think I'm freaking nuts.
Very true.
So I think I'd be
Very true.
being on
Okay.
reasonable.
Interrupting here. Cindy has a very valid point. When you are dealing with an adult, be it single or the adult has children, by rights, they do not owe you an explanation about them or their children, your grandchildren. That's law. This is why cases go under the bridge when people are missing and they're over the age of 18. They have the right to disappear. They have the right to not answer the phone. That's just the facts. So my daughter is out here 20 plus years of age doing shit with her baby. Exactly. If she had called the police, they would have told her the same damn thing. Well, she's grown. That's her kid. She don't got to stay at your house. She don't got to be there at the house with you and that kid, with her and her kid. She can go where the hell she want to go. So I get this man saying you seem like you aided her. I agree with the aiding after the fact. Once everything got out, she got arrested. You know, I believe that she made bond, all that, with the trial. This is the reason why her and George have never meshed. Because once she made the allegations in court against George, where can you go from there? He didn't want to have nothing to do with her, but the mother still was talking to her. And I could see why George would be pissed off. You get ready to ride with this heifer that we brought into the world, and she's saying I touched her and her kid, and I know I ain't touched her kid, and you still dealing with her. If you feel some type of way against me, then you should have left me. You should have left me. You thought I was a pedophile. How about that? You still sleeping with me, talking to me. That's why you know it's all a lie, see? Because wouldn't Casey say to her mother, why are you with him? He molested me, molested this kid. That's why he killed the kid. Stay woke, everybody. So, Cindy, you were straddling that donkey like I always talk about that donkey ride. You kept talking to her, dealing with her. You was going to the jail. We got all that information from the jail. You were visiting her, talking to her, asking her what happened to the baby, this and that. But yet all this time, after the fact, after trial, you were still messaging her, talking to her, texting her, allowing her phone calls to come in, and she had implicated you, your son and your husband as pedophiles. And if you thought for 1 minute they didn't do nothing to her, you would not be talking to Casey Anthony then. We are now many years, 10 years plus into the story. It's taking you all these years to realize your daughter's a liar. Yeah, we got a problem with that. Some of us that's lucid. And naturally, we don't know what goes on behind closed doors as far as SA. But I know one thing. I ain't about to take my baby to no house where somebody touched me. Checkmate. Say it again, Queen. I'm not about to live in a house where you touched me, number one. Number two, I'm not about to take my babies into a house where I was molested or a child molester lives. Checkmate number two. Who does that? But we know people do. And the boyfriend never saw the baby. Ding, 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 ding. So what the fuck is wrong with you 12 members of the jury? Because you know damn well that boy testified to tell you, I ain't seen no baby. I don't know nothing about no kid being here, there with me, whatever. She have a kid with me. So ding, ding, ding. A woman ain't got her kid with her and she got a kid. But she wait till she get arrested and say, oh, my daddy did it. My daddy did it. Make it make sense.
Who's the truthful one in this house?
Who is?
Now's the time where I need to tell you, we need to focus. We need to focus on the right thing. We don't need to focus on creating stories, changing testimonies, changing what we said. We have all. You're focused on the front of you. That's it. That's all.
People have always suspected you of lying to protect Casey. But Casey says that George was behind all of it. So I'm wondering if you might have been lying to protect him as well.
Pretty soon here, we'll have the results of the polygraph. It's wrapped for Cindy right now. You want to head over now and get set up for your final test?
Okay, so let's go through these questions then. So one of the questions that comes up has to do with Kaylee's, obviously, her disappearance. And so when I ask you about actively causing the disappearance, what I mean is that you physically did something to move her or hide her or something like that, right? So the question I'll ask you on the test will be, did you actively cause Kaylee's disappearance? How would you answer that?
No.
Okay, very good. Another question similar to that is, did you knowingly conceal Kaylee's whereabouts?
No. I mean, I didn't know where she was at.
Correct, that's all I'm asking. So the question again, did you knowingly conceal Kaylee's whereabouts?
No.
Okay, so you're struggling with that a little bit. Tell me why.
Maybe it's because I was so close to our house.
Yeah.
That she was found.
Right. But think about the times you went out looking for her.
Yes.
Did you know where she was that whole time?
No,
You sure?
I didn't know where she was at.
Okay, that's all I'm
I
asking.
did not know.
That's all I'm asking you. Okay, George? Kind of pull it together.
Yeah.
I just was visualizing the woods at the no, I'm sorry.
The what?
The woods where she was found.
See, he's an emotional creature.
Okay, you're gonna have to.
See, when they talk to you, they gave them pre-questions to get the polygraph started. As you hear in this commentary, they took them to, undisclosed location. So there will be no malfunction, no interruption. Nobody knows that they're in there doing the questions. There's a reason for that, because they want the person calm in giving the information pertaining to the polygraph. George is like a lot of people, because you can read this as, what the hell's wrong with him? Why he can't answer the damn question? He's an emotional creature. Emotional people cannot just answer the question. Yes, no. This is why people judge, you see. All he has to do is just say, I did not know where she was. No. That's the purpose of them pre-testing. I'm going to ask you this, yes or no. Don't describe nothing. Don't iterate. Don't do nothing. But this is what happens with people, because we're human. You learn this in court. If you ever been to court for any type of situation, the judge will tell you, stand up straight, put your hands to the side of you. Don't make movements. Answer the questions directly. Answer what happened. Don't tell me what color dress you had on. Don't tell me what your hair looked like. Don't tell me that horns were honking. That's not what I asked you. What happened on this day? That's what the judge wants to know. It's the same thing with the polygraph. I don't care if the birds were chirping. See what I'm going? I don't care that you were frying an egg. I want to know, did you know where the child was? Did you know where the mother was? Are you complicit? You don't give explanations. You just answer the question. And we've learned this from conversations with people, even ourselves. We talk around the subject before getting to the damn point. Some will judge you. Damn, can't you get to the point? Yes or no. Just answer. He's a very emotional creature. George. Thank you all so much for tuning in.
Right now, as you sit here right now, did you conceal her whereabouts?
Did I conceal her whereabouts? I did not know where she was at.
Okay, so why are you struggling with that?
Why are you struggling with that, he asked.
As you sit here right now, did you conceal her whereabouts?
Whereabouts?
Buffering, sorry.
I did not know where she was at.
Okay, so why are you struggling with that? Tell me why. I'm happy to modify the question if I have to, but I need to know where you're struggling.
I did not know where Kaylee was at.
But all you gotta do is say no. I have no reason to doubt you at this point. If someone stumbles on a question during the test, once we've already discussed it and explained it and they say they're okay with it, they still stumble on it, at first I'm gonna assume that they're just nervous or they just didn't understand or hear me properly. But if they continue to struggle with it, then we have to talk about it some more. There may be an issue there.
George, I'm wondering about this one moment in the run-up to the actual test. There was a question about concealment. You remember that question?
Yes.
There seemed to be either a lack of clarity, confusion on your part.
It wasn't that I didn't understand the question. It's just that I just was overthinking some stuff in that moment.
Yes.
In that moment that I almost ready to cry. I stumbled for a moment because I was visualizing where Kaylee was at, where she was found. Truth put it there. Why am I being blamed? Because I didn't do it. I've always blamed myself from day one that I was the one that's supposed to find my granddaughter. I didn't find her.
You felt you were the one who was supposed to find her?
I was supposed to be the one to find her. But that has nothing to do with concealment, George.
You understand where they're going with this?
Yeah, I understand.
The concealment question is an easy yes or no. Either you had something to do with it or not. So for you to be confused about concealment after all this time, it's either a yes or a no.
So this ends up being very important because we're going to get results
Yeah.
soon. You're a little frustrated right now?
I'm frustrated. It should have been an easy one to answer, and I don't know why you're struggling now.
I remember Casey saying she just wanted to see this all just not be here. She would not talk about it. She would do nothing about it.
Stop for 1 second. Answer his question. That's not what he's asking you. And I'm gonna walk away for a second, because if he can't focus on that, then you're not in a good mindset today to do a taping. And we need to get this done. And you're the one that wanted to do this. And I know he's gonna regret all of this later on.
Wow.
Think about it, because
That's deep.
George, talk to me for a second. What are you feeling?
I feel very, okay. I want to say the word hatred. I feel right now, I'm having a hard time liking her.
Woo! Wow, that's deep. Jeez.
All right, George. Let's go for a ride. Give me the way.
They are leaving the house. That's a deep statement to say.
I pulled you aside because I just have a sense that you need to be heard.
I'm just having issues with Cindy. I'm having issues ever since this stuff happened. Cindy wants to control the situation. No matter how much it hurts me, how much it bothers me, she wants to check on me, like how I feel about a situation. And every time I try to talk to her about it, I have to get loud. I have to get away from her. Because she doesn't understand it. She wants to be combative with me, but I don't want to be combative anymore. I can't take it. It hurts too much. I don't know where to go anymore. I don't know where to go.
When you say you don't know where to go, you want to leave?
Yes.
Is your marriage going to survive this?
No, I don't think so. There's many, many times over the last few years that Cindy and I have talked about getting away from each other.
How much of your lives, even now, all these years later, is still consumed by the story, your daughter, your granddaughter, and what happened?
On a percentage basis, I think it's really close to 100%.
What?
Like 99%.
What?
Yeah, oh yeah.
On a daily basis?
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. Look, every time you walk around the house, there's a memory of something.
Would you mind if we go to the area where Haley's remains are found?
One street you followed all the way down, turn left, you turn right, we've been down about 100 yards on the right hand side. There were so many adults that came here and they would pray. There used to be people, row after row, car after car. People would be over here. There could be a couple hundred people here at one time. But how can I tell people don't go down there? We've tried. I've been on the local news trying to keep people away.
Some would suggest that you want the memory of this to go away.
Kaylee isn't here. She's not here. There's times I wish I was here, instead of her.
Why?
I did. If I could call and talk to God right now and say, listen, send Kaylee back here to be with her family, I would have been, God take me. I tried almost take my own life because of it. I so much wanted to be with her. She meant everything to me. To me. I know she meant everything to Cindy too, but we showed our affection in different ways, I guess, to her.
And George, what would you say to people who hear you talk about your love for your granddaughter, who then say, that's a bit much. That's almost a bit creepy.
Well, they're not the ones that have to walk every single day on subside and fruit. They're being called, different things that I've been called. To my face,
What have you been called?
Pedophile, number one. That's just touching.
Well, brother, I hope you can find some peace.
Yeah, you need some peace.
Point.
Let me interject. Like I said, we're all humans. It's easy to judge a situation when you don't know all the dynamics of a true crime story or just a story in general. And people will do and say things that are suspect to you, and you watching, commentary directly with a person or interrogation. And we have learned with lots of interrogations done by detectives, Secret Service, FBI, state police, and local law enforcement, that the behavior is just that. It's a behavior. And some of it seems, strange. And then we find out later they're not the suspect. You know this from watching true crime, Oxygen, Forensic Files. The person acted weird, talked weird, rambled on, didn't talk, and they had nothing to do with the crime. But as I said before, I do believe that Mr. George Anthony is a very emotional creature, and that's why he, stumbled during this interrogation, this lie detector test, because I don't know, and I don't want, I'm defending him, but he's emotional, and what I have to tell myself is I'm not in his shoes. I'm not in his shoes. I wouldn't want to be labeled a pedophile. Okay. And if you've never been labeled a pedophile, you don't know what that's like. People getting a hold of your phone number, sending mail and shit. You heard that at the beginning of this live stream. How the hell did they get his phone number? There's an audio I played during this live stream of some woman saying, I know you did this to her, your daughter, you molested her. How do you know he molested this kid? You don't know that. You don't know he molested that little girl. You don't know nothing. Because if you follow the trial thoroughly, the state put on good evidence to show this lady had her kid in her possession. Because in the end, the parents didn't see either of the people, the daughter or the granddaughter. So you're talking about two people missing from this household. Parents get the car, it was seized, towed, smell of a trunk. Let me call 911, and that was the start of this story. But you got to prove SA. And if a person is known to lie to law enforcement, lie to their friends, associates, you can't see that that person would be the same individual that would lie about a baby missing. Come on now. Because that's the whole point of the story. If you lie about one thing, you'll lie about another, such as where the hell your baby is. Who takes detectives to the fucking amusement park and walk around corridors knowing they don't work there any fucking more? When they came to Casey, they could have said, where do you work? What do you do during the day? All you have to do is say, I don't have a job. That's the end of the conversation. This stupid ass wench walked them all the way through this fucking facility knowing she didn't work there. And you think the detectives didn't know that? You think the detective hadn't already called her fucking supervisor to say, hey, does Casey Anthony work here? Oh no, she's been gone a month, 2 months, 3 months. They let her do that because that helps build the case. Yeah, we're going to follow her around these fucking hallways knowing she don't work here no damn more. So that's the point of the story. If you lie about that, you'll lie about where the hell your baby has been for fucking 30-something days. How easy would it be to just say, I am currently unemployed. I am currently unemployed. But she had to play the role because the parents thought she still worked there. It's all cause and effect. Lie about where I work, lie about where I've been, lie about who had my kid, lie to this imaginary babysitter, and yet 12 members of the jury couldn't see through this, that this bitch has been lying about every fucking thing but her government name, but no, she couldn't have killed her kid. Wow. Man, come on, man. Lord have mercy, Jesus. I just don't understand it. I don't understand it. Let's finish this commentary, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Yeah, forsakes. Exactly. Don't get a word in. Very good point. Oh, no. I'm trying to get this video to come up. Hold on one second, everybody. I'm buffering right now. Oh, mercy, mercy. Just amazes me how everybody can't see. We all have different perceptions of things. That's what makes us human. But how in the world could 12 members of a jury not see that this lady killed her kid? I don't understand. Trying to get this content up. It's buffering right now. Sorry about that. It's saying it's not available, the video. No, that's not good. Trying to get this information uploaded where I was. For some reason, it's not popping up. Oh, Lordy. Let me check my internet. Well, my internet's good, so I don't know what's going on with the content. She makes me anxious listening to her. One moment, everybody, while I cue this up.
Too much. I don't know where to go anymore. I don't know where to go.
When you say you don't know where to go, you want to leave?
Yes.
Is your marriage going to survive this?
No, I don't think so. There's many, many times over the last few years that Cindy and I have talked about getting away from each other.
How much of your lives, even now, all these years later, is still consumed by the story, your daughter, your granddaughter, and what happened?
My percentage base, I think, is really close to 100%.
What?
Like 99%.
What?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
On a daily basis?
Mm-hmm. Most definitely. Look every time you walk around the house, there's a memory of something.
Would you mind if we go to the area where Haley's remains are found?
The one street you followed all the way down, turn left, you turn right. We've been down about 100 yards on the right hand side. There were so many adults that came here and they would pray. There used to be people, row after row, car after car. People would be over here. There could be a couple hundred people here at one time. But how can I tell people don't go down there? We've tried. I've been on the local news trying to keep people away.
Some would suggest that you want the memory of this to go away.
Kaylee, listen here. She's not here. There's times I wish I was here, you know?
This African-American male who is the journalist for this commentary. I'm not trying to be rude to you, but where did you get information that George wanted this to go away? He's tired. That's what people need to understand about being in the shoes of people involved in true crime. They become tired. And your own fucking daughter is out here talking to networks about implicating you into a crime. Hell yeah, I might want to jump off a bridge, kill myself, slit my wrist. Because I'm tired. That's the one thing you can't ever judge because you're not in their shoes, the people in the true crime story. The man is tired. He's exhausted. And every time you look up, here comes this and that. And the daughter talking. And I didn't do it. My daddy did this. My daddy did that. It's bullshit. Because if they were to play the tapes back of the interrogation of Casey Anthony, you'll probably hear 5 or 6 fucking versions that probably didn't have nothing to do with George Anthony. Checkmate. So you're sitting here telling him you don't want this makeshift memorial of the little kid and this and that. What did he just say? She ain't here. And I get it. And we do this as humans. We put teddy bears, crosses at the place where a child was found or a dead person was found. You see it all the time. You go up the highway. You see flowers and crosses where a person had a car wreck, a car accident. But you don't know this man. You don't know his journey. You don't know the mother's journey, Miss Cindy. These people are in turmoil. It's obvious. And as we are saying in the chat, 9 times out of 10, they have been at odds with each other before the little girl ever went missing. But that's their business. They don't have anything to do with this little girl missing. I don't believe that. It's just something to talk about because they're in the forefront of this storyline that some people believe they had something to do with this kid missing or a cover-up. I don't think they had anything to do with it because you haven't heard any signs that they were abusive to these a daughter and granddaughter, broken the law, been involved in human trafficking, any type of nefarious deeds. You have never heard that, and I have never heard it. So I'm not going to sit here and throw daggers at Cindy or George. Whatever marital problems they have had, that's between them. What does it have to do with the little girl? That's my point. And I don't think it has anything to do with them. I don't think that they're involved. I think it was a matter of one parent believing the child didn't kill her own child. And this is the reason why these two are not on the same page, because the mother over the years upheld Casey Anthony and the father is upset, angry. Why wouldn't he be? You're accusing me of touching you and touching a grandbaby. Hell yeah, I got a problem with you. I brought you here. How dare you accuse me of child molestation? You don't got a fucking receipt. Hell yeah. And people don't really understand the traumatic ramifications of being accused of rape and child abuse, child molestation. People ain't gonna want to fool with you. People ain't gonna want to bring their kids around you. So now you can't go work nowhere. You can't go to no job. You can't go to no damn church. You can't go to functions. Oh, he's a child molester. He molested his granddaughter. He helped kill her. You got people who are going to believe this bullshit. That's why I played you the audio of this commentary where some woman got their phone number and left a message. This is deep. You can ruin a person's life with this bullshit. That's why I said Casey Anthony need her ass beat. That's why she ain't gonna never have no good luck. You can take all the fucking pictures you want, all this photography bullshit, this working with that guy with the private investigation. How the hell you gonna work with a private investigation and you done killed a whole fucking kid? You're sitting around here stalking people with a camera to bring information. See, everything is about interpretation and what you believe. You are entitled to your opinion. But my mind tells me the state of Florida got it right. She killed that kid. She killed that baby. Thank you for joining.
Instead of her, why? I did. If I could call talk to God right now and say, listen, send Kaylee back here to be with her family. I would have God take me. I tried almost take my own life because of it. I so much wanted to be with her. She meant everything to me. To me. I know she meant everything to Cindy too, but we showed our affection in different ways, I guess, for her.
And George, what would you say to people who hear you talk about your love for your granddaughter, who then say, you know, that's a bit much. That's almost a bit creepy.
Well, you know, they're not the ones that would have to walk every single day on stuff I've been through. They're being called, different things that I've been called. To my face,
What have you been called?
Pedophile, number one. That's just petulant.
Well, brother, I hope you can find some peace at some point.
You good, George? You ready to get started?
I am ready to get started, yes.
Very good. So again, we're going to do it a few times, George. So don't be alarmed when I say we're going to do it again. That doesn't mean there's anything wrong. Doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong. There's just redundancy built into the protocol. I'm not here to accuse you of anything. We're here. Don't think of this, George, as a lie detector. Think of it as a truth verifier.
I understand.
And we're trying to keep emotions out of it.
And that's hard sometimes.
And it is very hard. I know it's easier said than done. But I mean, if you want, you know, accurate results, then somehow you have to do that.
You'd like to ask me again, I'll be more than glad to
Okay.
answer correctly.
All right, so the test is about to begin. Please remain still.
What would you believe if in these key areas of the exam, George comes back as being untruthful?
That would be life-changing for me. If I thought he had anything to do with this, and I went through all this, and he was a part of it, I couldn't live with him anymore.
Very interesting.
All right, so the test is...
Let me interject before he does his test on Mr. George. Cindy, if you can believe that your daughter didn't have anything to do with the disappearance and murder of the grandbaby, why would I believe that you would leave George? Checkmate. What's the difference? Come on with it, Queen. Murder is murder. Conspiracy is conspiracy. You upheld your daughter for years, thinking she didn't do it. So what would be the difference in if you thought that George did it? Oh, I'll leave him if I think he killed the grandbaby. Come on now, Cindy. This is the reason why you and your husband don't get along. It's because you still uphold her. You got pictures in your damn house of Casey holding that damn dead-ass baby. No disrespect. So you're contradicting yourself. So you said, I don't believe my daughter did it at one point, but what? Make it make sense. Oh, she's lie. But oh, if I think my husband did it, I don't stay with him. You're not making no sense. What's the difference between one or the other? Murder is murder. You've upheld your daughter for years. But then when you did that texting back and forth, you felt some type of way. You got in your feelings. Okay? Oh, he couldn't have sexually assaulted the baby. We keep doors open in this house. How would he have done it? That's the point. So why would you leave your husband then? I'm just saying. You upheld the daughter. What would be the difference in upholding the father as a child molester? Come on with it, Quay. I always tell people, pay attention to the details.
It's about to begin. Please remain still. Did you actively cause Kaylee's disappearance?
No.
Did you knowingly conceal Kaylee's whereabouts?
No.
Don't move your feet when you answer. Did you ever harm your daughter Casey when she was a child?
No.
Did You stop moving your feet, George. So that's
I-
going to affect you, George. I'm asking you to stay focused on what we're doing. It's your test, George. It's your
I
test.
know I'm screwing it up.
Did you place Kaylee's body in the ground?
No.
Okay, this part of the test is over. Please remain still. Okay, George, go ahead and recover. That means you can move. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. If you need some water.
Sorry if I'm shaking a little bit. I just have an issue with my
Yeah.
left hand and stuff from my accident.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it does move a bit.
Yeah.
And then your feet too, right? Try and keep those feet still when you're in.
Okay.
Appreciate that. All right. You know when you're ready, we'll do it again.
I'm ready, sir.
Okay. Okay, the test is about to begin. Please remain still. Regarding Kaylee's disappearance, do you intend to lie during this test?
No. There were people at the center of the store and you love desperately. Someone or both of them are not telling the truth.
Right. I mean, you can love someone and sometimes they disappoint you. But to me, that's beyond disappointment.
Yeah.
That's betrayal.
Did you knowingly conceal Kaylee's whereabouts?
No.
Okay, so the test is over. I'm going to review the data. Okay, back with you.
Yes, sir.
With the results. Any questions for me about this?
No, sir.
You feel all right?
Those, what your question you asked me, that is this is really hard, especially now that I never got a chance to see my granddaughter again. It's hard.
I know. Yeah.
And in fact, I said, family, tell me, oh, you should just go on with your life, forget about it. You can't forget.
Of course not.
And there's some days I remember it very vividly, other ones maybe not as much. I always wanted to be just known as a good guy. That's all I ever wanted in my life. This is not the way I thought my life was ever going to be. Never did. She tells me things sometimes I really can't understand what she does.
Since his accident, he's talks about not wanting to be around, he wants to be with Kaylee and stuff like that.
Why does he think that way?
Well, he feels like after the accident, he's not strong anymore. He's less of a man. And he feels like he's let me down. And I said, you don't let me down. I said, you let me down if you do something stupid.
I got the best person in my life to keep things stable. She tells me things sometimes that hurt, but I understand why she does.
Yeah. Tells you what you need to hear.
Yes, sir. Just wish she didn't have to go through this stuff. All the stuff she's been through.
So, I'll look at the data. I think it's clean enough to where we can make some calls here. Get back with you.
Yes, sir.
With the results at a later date. Okay.
Cindy? George?
Hey, how are you?
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Big day.
Yes.
Results day.
Yes,
You ready?
I'm ready.
You are? Okay.
Yes, I'm ready. I want to get this over with.
George?
Yes.
There's almost 10 minutes left of this commentary. George and Cindy Anthony are guilty of murder, conspiracy to this girl child, their granddaughter, Kaylee Anthony. Or they had no knowledge of the death, murder of the grandbaby and where she was. Please put your comment in the chat before I reveal the results of this polygraphs. One not guilty. I will wait for a few of you to weigh in before I play the results. Put your verdict in, everybody, so I can continue the live stream information. Thank you. Rebecca says guilty. Okay, so let me do that. 1 guilty. Not and guilty. 1 and 1. Melinda says guilty. Okay. Millie says not guilty. What's 1, baby? 1 is guilt. What are you saying? Guilty or not guilty? Okay. Peggy says not guilty. Okay, that's another one. Okay. Christine says not guilty. Okay. Let's get to the results. So far, I've got 5 not guilty, and I think 2 guilty. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Buffy just came in not guilty, so that would be 6. Thank you all so much for tuning into this live stream.
I think it's some answers.
Okay, well then let's
Kirby says guilty. Okay, that's
Waiting
3.
for the results has been hard for George and I.
So far, Moore says not guilty.
It's the most unthinkable thing.
Before we get the results, I just want all of us to sort of understand why we're here. You both understand that there is a high degree of reliability to this
7.
test.
Right,
Okay.
I'm ready. I'm
For the results?
I'm ready for the results.
George, are you ready for the results?
Yes,
Whatever comes out of it, you have to take responsibility for.
I will.
So I've done a careful analysis of all the data that was collected from your polygraph examinations using best practices. For quality assurance, I met with another retired FBI polygraph examiner. He reviewed all of my work and he came up with his own conclusions independently without any input from me, obviously without meeting you. At the end of the day, we both agreed on the final results. So what I'm about to share with you, I'm doing with a high degree of confidence. Cindy.
Yes.
The scope of your exam was whether or not George has secretly confessed to you any involvement in the disappearance and death of Kaylee Anthony. Your exam contained 3 relevant questions that were evaluated. Did George ever confirm that he was actively involved in Kaylee's death?
No.
Did George ever confirm that he actively participated in Kaylee's disappearance?
No.
Did George ever say that he knew where Kaylee was while she was missing?
No.
I asked you these questions multiple times during the examination to get a pattern.
Right.
And your results are that you passed this test with no deception indicated to the relevant questions. So in my professional opinion, you were truthful. I believe you, and you deserve to be believed.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right.
It's not going to help finding what happened to Kaylee.
She has been.
And that's been the whole.
So we have Cindy Anthony testing to be truthful in her information pertaining to having knowledge of the child deceased, knowledge that the father told her that the child was deceased or a cover up. That is the results. Cindy not guilty as far as any knowledge of the child's whereabouts at the time she was missing, discarded a road 1 mile up from the road from their home, and that the father never told her anything about the child being gone, dead, or whatsoever, any version. So that's good information right there. Let's continue this.
Point. I mean, I did everything I could and beyond to try to bring my granddaughter home safely. So my focus has always been Kaylee.
George. You took 2 examinations, George.
Yes.
The scope of one of your exams had to do with whether or not you were involved in child molestation with your daughter, Casey, and as well with your granddaughter, Kate. Your exam contained 3 relevant questions. Did you ever have sexual contact with Casey? You answered no. No. Did you ever touch Casey for sexual gratification? You answered no. And as an adult, have you ever had sexual contact with a minor, which would include any minor? And you answered no. I asked you the same questions multiple times during the examination, George. The results of that examination, George, are have you ever had sexual contact with Casey?
Is your marriage going to survive this?
Did you knowingly conceal Kaylee's whereabouts?
Did I conceal her whereabouts?
Did you conceal her whereabouts?
Casey Anthony's parents, the lie detector test. Watch now.
George, the scope of one of your exams had to do with whether or not you were involved in child molestation with your daughter Casey and as well with your granddaughter Kim. Your results are you passed this test, George.
Woo!
With
Shut
no
your mouth.
deception indicated to all the relevant questions. In my professional opinion, you were truthful.
No doubt. I would never have stood for it. No doubt.
George is crying.
No doubt.
George passed the lie detector test. Naturally, it's inexmissible in court.
I'm sorry. I want to have someone
To believe
believe me.
George, you deserve to be.
Yes, it is hippie.
George, you took a second exam as well. The scope of the other exam is to determine whether or not you had any involvement in Kaylee's death or disappearance. Did you actively cause Kaylee's disappearance?
No,
Did you knowingly conceal Kaylee's whereabouts?
no,
Did you place Kaylee's body in the ground?
no.
The results of that examination, George, you passed that exam.
Amen. 2 exams.
I saw no deception indicated to all of the relevant questions. In my professional opinion, you were truthful.
He was truthful in his information pertaining to the molestation of his daughter Casey, exam number 1. Exam number 2, the discardment of baby Kaylee. A former FBI agent says he found no deception of concealing the death of a girl child, Kaylee, after 2 exams taken pertaining to molestation of his daughter, number 1, and number 2, the death of Kaylee. You're entitled to your opinion of the said information. Naturally, lie detector tests are not admissible in most courtrooms. It is just a tool to get an idea of the information of the suspect or people involved in the storyline. Thank you all so much for joining me. I really appreciate you all tuning into this information.
Cool.
I've always believed you.
I'll tell you, she will even tell you. There were so many times I just didn't want to be here because I don't think I could stand being pulled in something that I didn't do.
You should be considered a trustworthy man based on these results.
How does it feel to hear that?
It says it takes a lot of weight off of you. But, whenever I would pray to Kaylee, which I do every day, it says, some days I never get the answers to be with you and have a pure heart.
Pretty baby.
And I got a pure heart.
Your husband should be considered a trustworthy man based on these results.
Right. I never felt otherwise about that. I was adamant that he never touched her. I was adamant that he never had anything to do with, I saw his pain every day, not knowing where Kaylee was. We've been linked together for 43 years, and his burden is my burden, and I feel in my body a release of his burden, and I'm so happy for him.
This feels so momentous.
It is.
It is. And incredibly sad at the same time.
Yes, exactly. Very sad. Very
I want
sad.
to know what it is you would like to say to your daughter.
You owe your dad a big apology. I'll never forget her.
What?
I will always love
Shut
her.
up.
I will always wish her well. And I hope someday she has peace. But I hope she someday finds the truth and accepts the truth. Not her truth, the real truth.
George, same question to you. What do you want to say to your daughter?
Casey, I love you.
Let me go back a little bit.
Did you ever have sexual contact with Casey? You answered no.
No.
Did you ever touch Casey for sexual gratification? You answered no. And as an adult, have you ever had sexual contact with a minor, which would include any minor? And you answered no. I asked you the same questions multiple times during the examination, George. The results of that examination, George, are Did you ever have sexual contact with Casey?
Is your marriage going to survive this?
Did you knowingly conceal Kaylee's whereabouts?
Did I conceal her whereabouts?
Did you conceal her whereabouts?
Casey Anthony's parents, the lie detector test. Watch now.
George, the scope of one of your exams had to do with whether or not you were involved in child molestation with your daughter Casey and as well with your granddaughter Kim. Your results are you passed this test, George, with no deception indicated to all the relevant questions. In my professional opinion, you were truthful.
No doubt. I would never have stood for it. No doubt. No doubt.
Now listen to her. I iterated. Cindy, she's something else with herself.
Oh my God. Oh man.
Okay, sweetheart. Okay, Stardust.
No, I'm
Thank you.
sorry. I want to have someone
To believe it.
believe me.
George, you deserve to be believed about that. George, you took a second exam as well. The scope of the other exam is to determine whether or not you had any involvement in Kaylee's death or disappearance. Did you actively cause Kaylee's disappearance?
No,
Did you knowingly conceal Kaylee's whereabouts?
no,
Did you place Kaylee's body in the ground?
no.
The results of that examination, George, you passed that exam. And I saw no deception indicated to all of the relevant questions. In my professional opinion, you were truthful.
I've always believed you.
Cause I tell you, she will make him not tell you. There were so many times I just didn't want to be here because I don't think I could stand being pulled in something that I didn't do.
You should be considered a trustworthy man based on these results.
How does it feel to hear that?
It says it takes a lot of weight off of you, but you know, whenever I would pray to Kaylee, which I do every day, I says, you know, someday I said, I'm gonna get the answers to be with you and have a pure heart. And I got a pure heart.
Your husband should be considered a trustworthy man based on these results.
Right. I never felt otherwise about that. I was adamant that he never touched her. I was adamant that he never had anything to do with, I saw his pain every day, not knowing where Kaylee was. We've been linked together for 43 years, and his burden is my burden. And I feel in my body a release of his burden. And I'm so happy for him.
This feels so momentous.
It is.
It is. And incredibly sad at the same time.
It is.
I want to know what it is you would like to say to your daughter.
You owe your dad a big apology. I'll never forget her. I will always love her. I will always wish her well. And I hope someday she has peace. But I hope she someday finds the truth and accepts the truth. Not her truth, the real truth.
George, same question to you. What do you want to say to your daughter?
Casey, I love you. I don't like you at all for what you put Keely through.
Interesting.
Your mom, me, your brother. It hurts so bad to know that I have felt so many times that I wanted to end my life because of this. And just know that you blew it.
You blew it.
With this family.
You blew it with this family.
I'm very confident with the results. I have no doubt that George and Cindy passed their exams. They did everything they were supposed to do. We're never going to know everything that happened in that family. When I learned Casey's allegations, I watched her documentary, and she, to me, did not come across as credible. There was a lot of other things about her demeanor that suggest that perhaps the truth was not on her side. But I probably shouldn't comment any more on that without talking to her face to face.
How does your life change essentially from this moment on?
Well, I'll tell you right now, I'll be able to walk outside, go some place.
I gotta go back because there's something very strange here. Something he says is bothering me.
I lost my granddaughter.
Hold on, you guys.
I'll never see until the day I die. Hopefully, I'll be with her.
I couldn't live with him anymore.
Listen very carefully to what this examiner has to say about Cindy, because now I'm starting to feel really weird.
Again, please remain still. Did you actively cause Kaylee's disappearance?
No.
Did you knowingly conceal Kaylee's whereabouts?
No.
Don't move your feet when you answer. Did you ever harm your daughter Casey when she was a child?
No.
Stop moving your feet, George. So that's going to affect you, George. I'm asking you to stay focused on what we're doing. It's your test, George. It's your test.
I'm screwing it up.
Did you place Kaylee's body in the ground?
No.
Okay, this part of the test is over. Please remain still. Okay, George, you ready to recover? That means you can move. Okay, we're going to take a quick break. You need some water?
Sorry if I'm shaking a little bit. I just have an issue with my left hand and stuff from my accident.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, it does move a bit.
Yeah.
And then your feet too, right? Try to keep those feet still when you're
okay.
Okay. Appreciate that. All right. You know when you're ready, we'll do it again.
I'm ready, sir.
Okay. Okay, the test is about to begin. Please remain still. Regarding Kaylee's disappearance, do you intend to lie during this test?
No.
There were people at the center of the story who you love desperately. Someone or both of them are not telling the truth.
Right. I mean, you can love someone and sometimes they disappoint you. But to me, that's beyond disappointment.
Yeah.
That's betrayal.
Did you knowingly conceal Kaylee's whereabouts?
No.
Okay, so the test is over. I'm going to review the data, get back with you
Yes, sir.
with the results. Any questions for me about this?
No, sir.
You feel all right?
What your question you're asking, this is really hard, especially now that I never got a chance to see my granddaughter again. It's hard.
I know. Yeah.
And in fact, I've had family tell me, oh, you should just go on with your life, forget about it. You can't forget.
Of course not.
And there's some days I remember it very vividly, other ones maybe not as much. I always wanted to be just known as a good guy. That's all I ever wanted in my life. This is not the way I thought my life was ever going to be. Never did. She tells me things sometimes I understand how she does.
Since his accident, he's talks about not wanting to be around. He wants to be with Kaylee and stuff like that.
Why does he think that way?
Well, he feels like after the accident, he's not strong anymore. He's less of a man, and he feels like he's let me down. And I said, you don't let me down. I said, you let me down if you do something stupid.
I got the best person in my life to keep things stable. She tells me things sometimes that hurt, but I understand why she does.
Yeah. Tells you what you need to hear.
Yes, sir. Just wish she'd have to go through this stuff. All the stuff she's been through.
So, I'll look at the data. I think it's clean enough to where we can make some calls here. Get back with you.
Yes, sir.
With the results at a later date. Okay.
Cindy? George?
Hey, how are you?
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
Big day.
Yes.
Results day.
Yes,
Ready?
I'm ready.
You are? Okay.
Yes, I'm ready. I want to get this over with.
George?
Yes. I'd like to get some answers.
Okay, well then let's head inside.
Waiting for the results has been hard for George and I. But the fact that he could be untruthful, it's the most unthinkable thing.
Before we get the results, I just want all of us to sort of understand why we're here. You both understand that there is a high degree of reliability to this test.
Right. I'm ready. I'm
For the results.
I'm ready for the results.
George, are you ready for the results?
Yes.
Whatever comes out of it, you have to take responsibility for.
I will.
Okay. So I've done a careful analysis of all the data that was collected from your polygraph examinations using best practices. For quality assurance, I met with another retired FBI polygraph examiner. He reviewed all of my work and he came up with his own conclusions independently without any input from me, obviously without meeting you. At the end of the day, we both agreed on the final results. So what I'm about to share with you, I'm doing with a high degree of confidence. Cindy.
Yes.
The scope of your exam was whether or not George has secretly confessed to you any involvement in the disappearance and death of Kaylee Anthony. Your exam contained 3 relevant questions that were evaluated. Did George ever confirm that he was actively involved in Kaylee's death?
No.
Did George ever confirm that he actively participated in Kaylee's disappearance?
No.
Did George ever say that he knew where Kaylee was while she was missing?
No.
I asked you these questions multiple times during the examination to get a pattern.
Right.
And your results are that you passed this test with no deception indicated to the relevant questions. So in my professional opinion, you were truthful. I believe you, and you deserve to be believed.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It's not going to help find what happened to Kaylee by not being truthful. And that's been the whole point. I mean, I did everything I could and beyond to try to bring my granddaughter home safely. So my focus has always been Kaylee.
George. You took 2 examinations, George.
Yes.
The scope of one of your exams had to do with whether or not you were involved in child molestation with your daughter, Casey, and as well with your granddaughter, Kim. Your exam contained 3 relevant questions. Did you ever have sexual contact with Casey? You answered no. Did you ever touch Casey for sexual gratification? You answered no. And as an adult, have you ever had sexual contact with a minor, which would include any minor? And you answered no. I asked you the same questions multiple times during the examination, George. The results of that examination, George, are you never had sexual contact with Casey.
Is your marriage going to survive this?
Did you knowingly conceal Kaylee's whereabouts?
Did I conceal her whereabouts?
Did you conceal her whereabouts?
Casey Anthony's parents, the lie detector test. Watch now.
Behave.
George, the scope of one of your exams had to do with whether or not you were involved in child molestation with your daughter, Casey, and as well with your granddaughter, Kim. Your results are you passed this test, George, with no deception indicated to all of the relevant questions. In my professional opinion, you were truthful.
No doubt. I would never have stood for it. No doubt. No doubt.
Oh my God. Oh man. I'm sorry. I want to have someone
to believe
me.
George, you deserve to be believed about that. George, you took a second exam as well. The scope of the other exam is to determine whether or not you had any involvement in Kaylee's death or disappearance. Did you actively cause Kaylee's disappearance?
No.
Did you knowingly conceal Kaylee's whereabouts?
No.
Did you place Kaylee's body in the ground?
No.
The results of that examination, George, you passed that exam. And I saw no deception indicated to all of the relevant questions. In my professional opinion, you were truthful.
I've always believed you.
Because I tell you, she will even not tell you. There were so many times I just didn't want to be here because I don't think I could stand being pulled in something that I didn't do.
You should be considered a trustworthy man based on these results.
How does it feel to hear that?
It says it takes a lot of weight off of you. But, you know, whenever I would pray to Kaylee, which I do every day, I said, you know, someday I said, forget the answers, to be with you and have a pure heart. And I have a pure heart.
Your husband should be considered a trustworthy man based on these results.
Right. I never felt otherwise about that. I was adamant that he never touched her. I was adamant that he never had anything to do with. I saw his pain every day, not knowing where Kaylee was. We've been linked together for 43 years, and his burden is my burden, and I feel in my body a release of his burden, and I'm so happy for him.
This feels so momentous.
It is.
It is.
And incredibly sad at the same time.
It is.
I want to know what it is you would like to say to your daughter.
You owe your dad a big apology. I'll never forget her. I will always love her. I will always wish her well. And I hope someday she has peace. But I hope she someday finds the truth and accepts the truth, not her truth, the real truth.
George, same question to you. What do you want to say to your daughter?
Casey, I love you. I don't like you at all for what you put Kaylee through, your mom, me, your brother. It hurts so bad to know that I have felt so many times that I want to end my life because of this. And just know that you blew it. You blew it with this family.
I'm very confident with the results. I have no doubt that George and Cindy passed their exams. They did everything they were supposed to do. We're never going to know everything that happened in that family. When I learned Casey's allegations, I watched her documentary, and she, to me, did not come across as credible. There was a lot of other things about her demeanor that suggest that perhaps the truth was not on her side. But I probably shouldn't comment anymore on that without talking to her face to face.
Interesting.
How does your life change essentially from this moment on?
Well, I'll tell you right now, I'll be able to walk outside, go some places with my wife a little bit more, hold my head up high, have a smile on my face. Even though I've lost my granddaughter, and I'll never see until the day I die, hopefully I'll be with her.
George did lose a big part of who he was. Our family was a masterpiece. And our masterpiece started the day that George and I met. And I'm hoping we can get that masterpiece even more beautiful or fill in the darkness that fell on our masterpiece. Today is like a new beginning, and I know I've got my husband back. That's enough to make me cry. Tears of happiness. Maybe I can have some happiness in my life. Whew.
Having a polygraph test, it's made me feel like me again. I have my life back again. I have my life back. I can be happy again.
The truth is on your side.
Thank you all so much for joining me. God bless all of you. Casey Anthony's parents, the lie detector test. One moment, please. So much was said during this lie detector test of two parents, both passed. You're entitled to your opinion of the information brought forward that these two are innocent in the murder of this child, the death of her, disgarment of Kaylee Anthony. It's a very diabolical case. No molestation of Casey or the girl child. The mother says she always believed him. The person who administered the test, former FBI, said he should be considered trustworthy. 43 years of marriage. Very interesting. The mother says, Casey Anthony, you owe your father an apology. She's always believed him. Well, some of you may disagree with that. He says he doesn't like you. He loves you, but he doesn't like you. Wow, that's a deep statement to say about your own child. The mother says she hopes that she will accept the truth. I guess that's pertaining to the lie detector test. But you see, the gist of the story is the obvious. This woman lied in open court. Whether she told this Mr. Baez different versions to bring forward as a defense, or he brought forward the information of the swimming pool drowning, so on and so forth. In the end, it took many years later for these people to decide to take a lie detector test. Why? I don't know why they waited this long. That's a whole nother subject. But I would have done it right after the allegations came out in court to, prove to people, hey, I ain't touched my kid. I ain't touched this grandbaby. But now they've taken the test. This Mr. Olivo says they are innocent. You're entitled to your opinion. See, what I always judge in a storyline is the information at hand. The lies, the non-cooperation, the whereabouts, people, person, places, all of that. And she was proven to be a liar during interrogation of the disappearance of the child. So that's what I bank on. You scratch the problems between the parents, because in the end, whatever went on between the two parents, it doesn't have anything to do with the disappearance of the little girl. I think that's obvious. Partying, tattoos, this and that, pictures of you dancing on tables. As I said, where was the child while you're doing all of this? You're going to put all the blame on your father, the mother, this and that, basically blaming the father. And the mother upheld her. That's even more disturbing. You upheld her for years. Let's be truthful. You admit during this commentary that you talked to her after the fact, after trial. 2016 is like 5 years after 2011 when she was acquitted of the charges. So you still were riding with your daughter, Miss Cindy. So in the end, you can't say during this documentary that you believed your husband was innocent, because you still kept talking to your daughter years after the non-guilty verdict. You're contradicting yourself. Oh, I always knew you didn't do it, baby. I always knew you didn't do it. Yeah, you had in the back of your mind, possibly. And then people are going to say, damn, you would believe your daughter over your husband? So then one would question, well, hell, what the hell was really going on in your house for you to say you thought possibly your husband molested your daughter and the girl and the baby girl? Stay woke now. It's a slap in Mr. George's face. I'm going to call a spade a spade. You could not have believed, Cindy, that he was innocent, because had you thought he was innocent, you would have cut off all contact with the daughter. In open court, he was accused of child molestation ×2 plus burying the little girl. Why would you then still be dealing with Casey Anthony? Come on now. And now that he's been allegedly exonerated through a lie detector test, which is once again admissible in court, oh, I always believed him. No, you didn't. No, you did not. You rode the ride, and what I always say, that donkey ride, you rode that ride because he's all you knew, which we see this with true crime cases. People ride the ride with people because they become complacent, codependent. Really, George didn't have a reason to stay with you. Because let's think about that for a minute. Why would I stay with somebody that believes I'm implicated in a crime? You don't believe me? Well, shit. We don't need to be together. What's the point? Am I going to sleep with you and you think I killed somebody or killed a baby or molested people? Well, I don't need you. You believe what you want to believe, but I'm out of here. I got to go. So this is why they have been troubled in their marriage. She's bossy, controlling, allegedly. He missed that during his live stream, this audio. Yeah, she's bossy. Telling him to sit forward to watch the program instead of watching it from the side of a chair. It is what it is. But the point is, as always, the husband continued to ride the ride in this marriage with Cindy Anthony. You also heard commentary I brought you that they were separated at the time of this African-American reporter, journalist, meeting with them to talk about this debacle of the lie detector test. So where do they stand now? Will these two remain together in a relationship? I do not know. I don't really see how they've made it this far from 2011 up until 2023, possibly when this information was recorded. How in God's name did you two make it this long? He says he's seen the little girl, his granddaughter. She's come to him. Very interesting. Very interesting. So much was mentioned during this documentary. Casey said she was raped at 18, but she didn't tell her mother. The mother thought they were buddies, best friends. Why not tell me? So who was the person that raped her, allegedly? I don't believe any of that because she lies so much. So you see, you can't believe half of the things that this chick has said. She sent cards to the mother over the years, which shows you she's in cahoots with dealing with the daughter. Casey wanted belongings of the dead girl and things from the house, but they told her, you can't get nothing from this house. Naturally, the child was cremated because there wasn't much left of her remains. Casey Anthony wanted those remains. Very interesting. She talks about the first time she got a call from Mr. Baez that the father was implicated in the death of the little girl. Very interesting. The child drowned. So where was the mother, allegedly, if the child drowned in the swimming pool? Makeshift pool, the little round pool you put out in the backyard, not an in-ground swimming pool. Of course, it doesn't matter. A pool is a pool. Where was the mother, Miss Cindy, if the child drowned while on the father's watch? Was she working at the time? Very interesting. What's the date of the child's death by the coroner? Because you see, that is very, that seals the deal on where the child, what am I trying to say? She was found 5 months later. So what's the time of death of the little girl to say where, how long she was dead at the time when she was discarded? Because Casey puts it at what? The 16th, this and that. How is it the 16th? That's the same time when the woman put the call into the dispatch. How convenient. Oh, she died that day that the mother called. So basically, this is her ruse. Oh, well, the day that they called, that's the same day the little girl was dead. Yeah, nobody believes that bullshit. And if your father came to you saying the little girl was dead and he's showing you a little dead person, wet, wouldn't you say, Daddy, I'm not going along with this lie. I got to call 911. My baby's dead. See, that's why you know these are all lies. Mr. George denies all allegations from Casey Anthony of molesting her and molesting the girl child. Smothered her. This is Casey Anthony's rendition. But don't you find it interesting? That's what the state alleged happened to the baby. Hand over nose or mouth by the mother. And then yet years later, she says the same thing about the father. Oh yeah, he smothered her while essaying her. Don't you find that interesting? Because 9 times out of 10, you smothered the baby. That's why you're saying that. He never thought his life would end up like this. Of course, who would think their life would end up like this? Being accused of child molestation, their own child and grandchild. 2 exams taken by Mr. George, both pertaining to the death of the child and child molestation of his daughter. He has been proven not guilty or have any dealings with child molestation of a child and a grandchild, if you believe the polygraph. The mother states she's always been behind him. Instructor says he should be considered a trustworthy individual. 43 years of marriage. The story has consumed their lives. He was also asked about the marriage surviving during all this. Do you think the marriage will survive? I'm very surprised that they are still together, quite frankly. These two. Because it's a lot to ride the ride of being accused of child molestation And then your wife is still talking to the culprit who was exonerated in court. You're telling this person, well, I didn't touch the kid. I ain't touched my daughter. What are you doing talking to her? She's accusing us of all these dirty things. You're complicit as having knowledge. So see, that's why, Cindy, something wrong with Cindy, because those are the allegations from the daughter. Well, you knew what he did to me and what he did to the child, and yet you would still talk to the person? That doesn't make any sense. Then she did the documentary 2 years ago with Peacock that, the daddy did this and this, and she was drowned. The baby was drowned. He brought me a dead baby. But you're still making a fool out yourself that you went along with this. If we're to believe that happened, that George found a dead kid in a pool, why would you go along with that? But see, this is why that Casey Anthony's a liar. You go from a dead baby drowned to SA. So which is it? Because it can't be both. The baby drowned accidentally. He covered it up. You went along with it. Or, daddy threw her in the pool to make it look like it was a drowning because he'd been essaying her. You ain't making no sense. You're just making up shit. Hello, Joelle. Good to see you, sweetheart. Just making up stuff. But this is what liars do when interrogated about a crime. They make up stuff. And when they realize detectives debunk the first version, then they go to something else. Then the detective debunks that, then they go to another version. And then before you know it, you got 5, 6, 7 different versions. And anybody with sense will know, okay, this MF is lying. And that's what you have here with Casey Anthony. You done went from SA, drownings. It ain't no both. How's a baby going to drown if they was already dead? Come on with it, Queen. Now it's, he killed the baby because she was molested. Well, if didn't nobody know he was molesting her, he wouldn't have no reason to kill her. You hear the stories of children being molested for many years. She's a toddler. So she ain't saying nothing. I'm going to keep molesting her. Damn, Casey, are you just stupid? You're all over the place because you've been fishing. And this is what people do when they want to deflect their culpability as being the suspect, perpetrator. You killed that baby. You were tired of dealing with her. You didn't want her anymore. You wanted to live your life Sorry about that. Somebody said there was no sound. Sorry about that. I don't even know how that jumped on. Sorry about that. But the point is, they should have been moved. Just move, get the hell on, find your nice plot of land, and live your life. Have it gated. Just move on. Just move on. Now, let's see who decides to call this family to accuse them of still being complicit to the death of this little girl. I found that funny, listening to that recording at the beginning of this live stream. How somebody get your phone number? But we know through Google searches, you can get somebody's phone number, address. And this is what happens in a true crime story. You don't know people. You don't know what's the truth, what's not the truth. But I'm going to bank on the evidence from the state. This girl killed her kid. She's complicit. Bottom line. She lied about where she was. She lied about where she worked. And if you lie about where you work, you lie about killing a kid. And that's my opinion. Because why do you need to lie about where you work? All you have to do is tell the detectives, yeah, I've been out of work a month, 2, whatever. So you lied about where you work. You lied about Zanny the nanny. You made up a name about who had the kid. So common sense will tell anybody, if you lie about those things, you definitely will lie about what happened to the child and where she's at. Because those are not things to lie about. And while you're lying and spinning those lies about that, the nanny, this, her name, the child was never seen until found 5 months ago. 5 months later. That should show you the mother is complicit because she's the one spinning the web. Not the grandparents, not other people, but the mother. And what have I told you? 450 people kill their kids each year. Mother. Filicide. It's not a myth. It's not ideology. It's statistics. Once again, why couldn't she have killed her kid? Same thing with the holler. Why couldn't a little girl by the name of Summer be killed by the mother? No kidnapping, no human trafficking, just a dirty ass mama that didn't want to be bothered. Abused the kid. Happens every day. Children are abused every day by their parents. What is the great mystery? Oh no, my friend wouldn't do that. Oh, my friend would never kill his kid. Maybe you don't know your friends. You don't know your family members. Prayers for the Anthony family. Prayers they can finally move on, find some peace in life, and never look back. And frankly, after this results of the lie detector test, throw away every picture of Casey Anthony. It doesn't matter if she's holding the child in the picture. Throw it, burn it, keep it moving. Ask God to cover you in your mindset, your journey, and never look back. Exactly, you don't know people. Just keep it moving. Because this man is 72 years of age. He is an elderly person. So is the wife. Just move on. Fuck Casey Anthony. You brought her here. She's a demon seed. Accept it. I wouldn't care about what she's talking about. I would not care. So long as I know the truth, that's all that matters. Because that's the whole point of a story. You don't know a person's plight or journey in life because you don't know them. You can assume all you want. I'm sure they go back in time wondering, how did it get to this point? What did we do wrong with this daughter? Why didn't we see the signs that something was wrong with her? Because it happens in life. We aid people in foolishness. And then poof, 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 something jumps off. We're sitting here stunned. Or we're sitting here, oh yeah, I figured that was going to happen. But that's the point. You can't go back. And in the end, whether you reprimand a person, a child, they will do what they want to do. I'm sure they have seen the signs their child was wayward, stayed into trouble, or whatever the issues were, but didn't think she'd kill a whole kid. And that's what the mother needs to understand. I can tell you this and this, but I won't tell you this. Didn't know who the baby's daddy was. You ain't gonna never find out the truth because she ain't gonna never tell the truth. Baby dead, baby daddy dead, baby daddy alive. You ain't gonna know. Because this girl has probably been lying most of her youth. Because as I told you all, you do not wake up a pathological liar. That's something you've been doing. Now we wait to see what her response will be to the polygraphs taken by the parents. What will Casey Anthony's response be? Because now she's got to come up with something new now. Oh, well, it doesn't matter what they said. I know what was done to me and my baby. You know, all that huffing and puffing. But I tell you what, between Casey Anthony's lies and the 12 members of the jury, all of you should be somewhere sitting real sick right now. Because you allowed this. You had the chance to exact wrongdoing. And you chose to let this bitch walk free. That's on you. You chose this. All this trauma, these people falling out with each other, not getting along, these parents, you allowed this BS to go on. From your jury verdict. Now we wait to see if anybody from the jury has something to say. This is terrible. People say, oh, I respect the process. You hear a lot of attorneys say that. State attorney, defense attorneys. I respect the process. But guess what? This woman lied. I think most of us know this. She lied. She lied during interrogation. That was one of the charges she was found guilty of. That's the part I don't understand with the 12 members of the jury. She was found guilty of lying. You exacted that punishment. Yes, she lied. So why the fuck can you say, yes, she lied to authorities, but you can't say, yes, she lied also about killing her kid? This makes no sense to me. You found her guilty of only lying to authorities. So a person that's lucid would say, well, if you found her guilty of lying to authorities, why you couldn't have used that same deduction about the baby? Jesus Christ. You all must have been on methamphetamines because that makes no sense. Oh, I'm going to find her guilty for lying, but I ain't going to find her guilty for lying about her kid. Because that's the whole point of the story. If you lie about one thing, you'll lie about killing a kid. Lord have mercy. Thank you all for joining me. Have a wonderful week. God bless all of you. Happy New Year. Stay warm. I'll bring you more breaking news. Prayers to the Anthony family that they can move on now. Find some peace in the world. We will wait to see if Casey Anthony will respond to the results from this, the two polygraphs, the polygraphs taken by the parents, or she will continue to keep spinning lies against the parents. And will the mother, Cindy, finally cut this heifer off and move on? Because she and her husband, they ain't gonna make it. He's 72, she's 65. It's time to put an end to all of this shenanigans between the two parents. Either walk y'all way or stay together. If you're going to stay together, you need to come to some common ground. You're welcome, sweetheart. Thank you all so much for joining me. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $Bigangie129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are welcome during the live stream. Thank you for joining me. This was live number 2. First live earlier is pertaining to a Reginald DePriest out of Knoxville, Tennessee. He has been accused of murder in the first degree of a female. I do not have the information of who the female is and the motive and their relations to one another. But when I get that said information, I will bring it to you. Please go back into the YouTube queue to watch that upload I did earlier. Very interesting information coming out of Knoxville, Tennessee. There's a man who claims that he was bullied by Mr. DePriest as a kid, and he has no remorse and no regret of his commentary. It's very deep information. What happened to this young lady? Is he the perpetrator of the murder, and why did he kill her? Please check out that upload earlier today. The next live stream I will bring you will be pertaining to Summer Wells, keeping you abreast of older information, allegations. I will bring you information pertaining to the reward fund that became dismantled of a baby girl because of meddling ass British people person. Yeah, they ain't gonna like that, but I don't care. That's the next live stream. Please check out my older content pertaining to Gypsy Rose Blanchard, newly released from prison after 8.5 years of conspiring to kill her mother. Her stepmother has spoken to Banfield of News Nation. Please check out that content. And I always go to my community board for said updates and polls pertaining to breaking news. I will now put up a poll pertaining to this information from this polygraph, plural, of the Anthonys. What will Casey Anthony's response be? Thank you for joining me. Thank you, Peggy. You have been listening to The Vault XL. Have a wonderful week, everybody. Thank you.